opening the doors for artists such as Eminem, right?
Who?
Yeah, Eminem.
Eminem.
Was it? Who was it? Eminem. And
Eminem.
And they sold. Sorry, what's your problem?
It's okay. Carry on.
It's Eminem.
It's Eminem. Eminem.
No, Eminem is a sweet.
That's an M and M.
Yeah, this is Eminem.
Eminem.
Anyway, they sold.
Eminem.
They sold. Honestly, you are stupid.
This is TalkSport. We are the two mics, and I'm delighted to say it's time to say a very, very good morning to a man that it seems like I only saw yesterday, Mr. Mike Porky Parry. Mr. Parry, very good morning to you.
And a very good morning to you, Mike. And in fact, it was only yesterday, believe it or not. I know it sounds like a mirage. It feels like a mirage. It sounds
looks like one.
Sounds like an echo, albeit a very pleasing sort of echo. Albeit, yeah.
Albeit.
That's a word. And
albeit is what I say.
And all I can say to you is that it's always a pleasure to be in the studio with you. And,
really?
And the different levels of mass communication that we indulge in do in fact test the versatility of our ability to communicate with the audience. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. And I must say that today I was struggling to realise what day. Well, I kept walking around going, what day is it today? Because it didn't seem like a Monday because it was a bank holiday and there was lots of sort of general bank holidayness going on.
That's right. Lots of nothingness.
Although what I did
what
I did find, right,
the world should be quieter.
Almost everything was open apart from the banks.
Yeah.
Funny enough, one of my kids said to me, well, the bank's not open. I said, well, that's because it's a bank holiday. But almost everything else was open. Every other shop in my neighbourhood was open.
I didn't think it was very bank holiday today at all. I didn't like it.
Didn't you?
No. The shops, I think, were only up until 4 o'clock.
Well, you don't like holidays, do you?
Well, I do, but I want more respect for Sundays and bank holidays. We should quieten down on those days and let the world sort of slow down a bit.
Yeah, but that's my point. There was, every normal shop was open.
Yeah.
I don't know what supermarkets weren't Sunday hours, were they? They were just open normal hours.
Yeah. No, the supermarket I went to closed at 4 o'clock.
Did it?
Oh, yes.
Was it after 4 when you went there?
No, I went there before 4, idiot.
How did you know it was shut at 4?
Because all the bread had run out, and when I went and saw the bloke complained and said, I want some more bread,
he
said, we haven't got any, we're closing at 4.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were breadless?
No, because I made arrangements.
Why don't you keep some bread? You made arrangements?
Yeah.
What, did you talk to a special bread delivery vehicle?
No, I went to another shop that was selling bread.
Ah, good idea. What, bakery?
No. One of these shops that's called like a mini version of the big shop, like Express or something like that.
Oh, I see.
That's open around the clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
Well, I was able to get some bread from my local bakery, which I was surprised to see was
open today?
Which was open today, yeah.
Oh.
But that might have been because there was a big thing going on. They had this medieval kind of fair thing going on.
Yes.
Which actually wasn't very good.
How was that? Yeah, the medieval fair. Yeah, how did that go?
Well, not very well. I had some visitors down this weekend, and we were hoping that they were big signs all over the place saying they had archery, and you could go and play, try your hand at archery, right?
Yeah.
So I was expecting there to be somewhere in the grounds of Battle Abbey,
right,
where they fought the Battle of Hastings.
Yes.
Some kind of place where you'd have a go at firing an arrow.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But instead, what they had was a little stall where you could fire a plastic arrow from a plastic crossbow, like a kid's thing.
Sounds dreadful.
Where you could win a certificate to find out whether you were a knight or a peasant or whatever else.
Yeah.
Try not to hit the microphone.
No, sorry about that. No, it sounds absolutely dreadful.
So it was a good weekend all round.
Yeah.
You had a bit of trouble with the traffic, though.
Bit of trouble with the traffic. But before we get on to that, this medieval archery of yours, right? I'm still looking to find somebody who will allow me to put an apple on my head and allow Michael van Gerwen, the best snooker player in the world. No, sorry, darts player, best darts player.
They're actually going to hit you over the head with a snooker cue.
That's right. Yeah.
Throw
a snooker cue at the apple. No. What I'm prepared to do for charity is to stand beneath a darts board with an apple on my head at the point where the bullseye is. And for Michael
hang on, you'd have to stand on a very large box then.
What an idiot you are, honestly.
Well, you look at where the bullseye is, it's a lot higher than you are.
Rubbish.
What do you mean, rubbish?
Utter nonsense.
Anyway,
I'm
going to have you stand over there by that dartboard, and I bet you your head will not reach the bullseye.
And you think that dartboard is at regulation height?
That is absolutely regulation height. Yes, it's been measured. It's been put in specially.
Ridiculous. Of course, it's not.
Well, if anything, it's lower down.
Let me have a look.
If anything, it's lower down.
Yeah. Anyway, the point of the story is, and then Michael van Gerwen throws a dart into the middle of the apple and takes it off my head.
Okay.
See what I mean? But, so who's that remind you of?
What, you mean William Tell?
William Tell.
Yeah, but did he not use a crossbow?
Yeah, but I mean, this is the whole idea.
No, I don't want it to be a dart.
Yeah, it'd be a dart.
Well, hang on, you said you were going to jump off Bournemouth Pier for charity. That didn't happen.
They wouldn't let me do it. Yeah. Now, this got lined up. I was going to do this in a darts club in London.
Right.
I'll tell you where it was. It was near where the Express building is now, on Thames Street. There's a darts and snooker club. Darts and snooker club, yeah.
Okay.
I went there, and we were going to do it for charity.
Yeah.
And some betting company was involved, sponsoring it. And at the last minute, this guy from Health and Safety walked in and said, no.
What, you can't do it?
Can't do it.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, so you know then that you won't be able to do it then?
No, because he said we didn't have the proper clearance.
Maybe you could do it as a sort of underground thing.
Well, I don't know. We'll film it anyway and do it surreptitiously.
But you can't. But you have to be careful where you do that then, because then the premises may be like, well, what if he hits you in the eye or something, takes your eye out?
Well, the whole idea is that Michael Van Gerwen won't.
Well, yeah, but everybody makes mistakes. I mean, he doesn't always win every
make a mistake that night.
does he?
Oh, yeah, but he never misses by more than a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, but if he misses by a quarter of an inch down, he hits you in the head.
No. The middle of the apple is his target.
Yeah.
If he misses by a quarter of an inch, he hits the bottom of the apple or the top of the apple.
You better get a big
or the
apple.
side of the apple. No, I have no fear whatsoever.
Really?
In fact, I've said I won't even bother wearing protective glasses. I'm so confident, that he will...
what about your ordinary glasses?
Sorry?
You wear those?
No, I'll take them off. I might wear them because
maybe you should stand
what's happening.
with your face, against the wall. Just in case.
No, I don't want a dart in the back of the head.
If you get a dart in the back of the head, it's better than get one in the eye.
Well, listen, even if he missed, I'd get it in the forehead, right?
Forehead?
So the forehead doesn't...
The forehead?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, so that wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind copping for a dart between the eyes as long as it wasn't in my eyes.
Can I have a go?
No, you can't, because you're not the world's best darts player, and Michael Van Gerwen is.
Apparently, by the way, the distance from the floor to the dartboard's centre bullseye is 5'8".
Well, there you go.
So you will be well below it.
How tall am I?
You're about 5'5.5".
No, 5'8 3/4.
Well,
so
with your Cuban heels on.
That's absolutely... No, I haven't got any Cuban heels. So that's absolutely perfect. I like the sound of this. This is good. Now, you're asking me about my bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, well, because you got stuck in some traffic.
I want to know which moron closed the Kings Road Chelsea yesterday.
What did I say to you when we did the warm-up yesterday? We're doing the next 3, by the way, for those of you who didn't know that.
Sunday afternoons.
People were berating me, by the way, at the weekend, saying, well, how come you didn't tell us you were doing the warm-up? We did tell people.
We did tell everybody.
Well, we're doing the next 3. So there'll be, podcasts coming out on Sundays as well as, Tuesday to Friday.
But, of course, you have very pompously in the past, when I have been recruited to do Clash of the Titans.
That's right.
You have very pompously pointed out to people...
I don't do anything pompously.
You don't work Sundays.
Well, I was asked specially to do this particular one.
So now you do work Sundays, is that right?
I'm working the next 3 Sundays.
Right, okay.
But I, generally speaking, don't work Sundays.
But you won't be working Sundays after that, then?
No, probably not.
You won't?
No.
Right, okay. I'll tell the management you're not available, then.
No, you don't have to speak on my behalf to the management.
Well, why not?
But if I'm asked to do something...
You seem to be speaking with forked tongue.
No, if I'm asked to do something, I will do it, generally speaking.
Anyway.
At the great sort of sacrifice of my family time.
Oh, I see, okay. Anyway, so I had to shoot then off down to Bournemouth.
But what did I say to you before you left?
You didn't say anything.
Yes, I did.
What
I said on the air, have you checked your routes? Because if you don't look at the maps, you might find there's a lot of traffic all over the place on a Sunday afternoon in London. And did you look? No. And what happened?
Well, it was a nightmare. It took me 2 hours to get out of London. By the time I got out of London, it wasn't worth me going to Bournemouth.
I got to Sussex, right, and my daughter and her fiancé were with me. And I, got out of the car, looked at the phone, and saw a text message from Porky, which said, "I'm still stuck on the embankment."
Yeah, that's right.
We all fell about laughing.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
that's very nice. I'd been there for 2 hours, and what happened was some idiot closed the King's Road. Now,
why would they do that?
Well,
was there some event on or something?
No, they were doing roadworks or something. Now, for those people who are lucky enough not to have to live in London, they will have heard of the King's Road from the swinging 60s.
Well, some people weren't alive during the swinging 60s.
Well, okay, that's true. But anyway,
they would have heard of the King's Road because of Chelsea Football Club
and all that. Mary Quant, swinging 60s, all that kind of stuff.
Mary Quant?
Yeah, Mary Quant was around then.
Did she have a shop there?
Yeah, she did, actually.
She did.
No, she did. So anyway, what happens is I can go along the embankment and then, curl right up towards sort of Hammersmith way.
When you go up past Earl's Court.
Earl's Court, that's right. Yeah, and then
you should have gone over one of the bridges, surely.
I did. I went over Lambeth Bridge.
No, I mean gone back over the other bridge because you're going south. What are you doing crossing the river?
Well, because I always go that way, and then I go up Putney High Street straight onto the A3.
But if you'd stayed south of the river,
I agree.
You could have gone through Wandsworth, right?
I agree,
and you could have gone Battersea, Wandsworth. Yeah. What on earth were you doing north of the river?
Because that's the quickest route.
No,
normally.
It's not.
It is, honestly.
No.
Believe
how
me,
is it quicker to go across the river and then back
because
again?
Once you've got to the other end of the High Street I've just mentioned, what was it again?
What?
Which High Street?
Which High Street?
The other side of the
Hammersmith?
river. No, you idiot.
I
just told you Putney. Putney High Street.
What are you doing in Putney?
Yeah, you got Putney High
Street. So you go all the way to Hammersmith and then Putney?
And then you drop down.
You're mad.
No, I'm not, because
That's ridiculous.
You drop down straight to the A3. That's where the A3 ends, you idiot.
I know where the A3 ends.
And the A3 goes to the south coast.
The A3 comes in to Wandsworth.
Anyway, I want to find the bloke who authorised the King's Road to be dug up yesterday, because that caused a a tailback of 3.5 miles along the embankment to where I was.
Which, by coincidence, the embankment has now been...
for 2.5 hours.
And the embankment, of course, has now been narrowed to one lane because of the cycle superhighway, right?
It's so ludicrous.
Just for good measure.
You know, that guy, Boris Johnson, who used to be the mayor of this city, has decided that cars are no longer necessary, despite the fact that they raise billions of pounds and keep business going. So, you know, we'll carry next time we move an office around, we'll carry a few filing cabinets on the back of some cyclist's back. Yeah, yeah. Or on the crossbar of a bike.
You made a massive mistake. You went the wrong way. Yeah, next time you should listen to me, and then you'll get to your destination a lot better. Because you were off to celebrate your sister's birthday.
I was, yeah.
So did you not make it?
No, I didn't get there.
Well, I suppose there's always a silver lining for them.
Well, it was a bit like that, actually. If I'd have got there, they wouldn't have eaten until 7 o'clock. Despite the fact that I left here at...
well, we finished at 2.
2, that's right, yeah. I would not have got there till
5
7
hours.
o'clock. Well, after 2.5 hours, I was still in Putney.
Ah.
It was an outrage. Damned outrage.
Absolute plague. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and of course, coming up later on, it's winners and losers. Currently, 3.5 to 2.5 in my favour. Yep. There's been loads of sporting action over the weekend, though. Plenty of winners and losers to choose from, so we shall see how it all goes. You'll have a chance to vote on that. That's Traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, excellent. I like that. Traffic.
Yeah.
Mind you, if I'd have been consulted, which I should have been because it was my story,
of course.
my favourite Traffic song is Hole in My Shoe.
Really?
And all that I knew
was
but the
thing about that
is my shoe,
yeah, but people like to hear songs
was letting in water. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a hole in your head that's letting in water.
Stevie Winwood.
Yeah, never mind. He told me to F off once, Stevie Winwood.
Well, do you know how old he was when he got his first #1 hit record?
He was about 17.
He was. You're absolutely right, yeah.
I was sent to...
why did he tell you that?
Well, I was sent to...
Mind you, he wouldn't have been the first person or even the last in your life.
Not at all.
Exactly.
In fact, he was doing a show in somewhere near Philadelphia.
Oh, yes.
And the story I was tracking was the story that his former wife had somehow contracted HIV and was going to be getting AIDS. And
not a pleasant story.
Not a pleasant story at all. But he wasn't actually with her at the time.
Yes.
But I mean, they had been together, obviously. So I was dispatched to try and find him and ask him if he knew about it. So it's one of those horrible stories. I mean,
where was he?
He was in. He was doing a show somewhere in Philadelphia.
Right.
But I don't know how. I tell my kids these stories sometimes, and you go, I don't have any idea how I found out where he was staying.
Exactly.
But I found out where he was staying.
Yeah.
And he was staying in a Marriott, sort of on the outskirts of Philadelphia.
Right.
And so I just had to head for that because I couldn't get down there quick enough to get to the show, and I couldn't get backstage or anything like that. So I just waited in the lobby of the hotel for him to come in from the show. Mm-hmm. And I stopped him as he walked in, like you do, and I said, excuse me.
Well, he actually came back to the hotel after the show?
Yeah.
Because most of them go off on the razzle for about 6 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, he was quite an older guy. I mean, this was quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't.
Did he look like Stevie Winwood?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I recognised him straight away.
Right.
And he had his usual entourage and stuff, and I stopped him as he walked through the doors, and I said, excuse me, Mr. Winwood, I'm from this paper, whatever paper it was.
Yeah.
I just wondered if I could ask you something. And he was like, oh, yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
And I was like, when they're nice, it's even worse. You know? And I said, well, I'm terribly sorry to have to ask you this, but I just wondered if you happen to know that your wife has been diagnosed with HIV and may well get full-blown AIDS in the fullness of time.
Were he and his wife still together?
No.
Right, okay.
No, it's his former wife.
Right, I see, yeah.
And he just looked at me with the look of daggers.
Yes.
And just said, why don't you...
off. Right. Well, that's not nice, is it? Yeah.
And then I was bundled out of the place by a security man.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's all about shoot the messenger again, isn't it? It's not your fault that she'd allegedly contracted HIV. Well, that's what I mean, yeah. She's still alive, poor girl.
I don't know.
Don't know? Shouldn't you have followed that up and shown a bit of concern for her?
That wasn't my job.
I think you should. Now, listen, I've got a big announcement.
Hang on, I've got a couple of tweets here for you.
OK.
There's a great one here from Woodenhead, who we haven't heard from for a while. Parry would make a great dartboard as he speaks a load of old bull.
Oh, yeah, I quite like that. Well done.
And there's a couple of people saying they'd like to have an opportunity to join in. Steve says, I'm really good at darts. Come on, let me try.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Unless you're as good as Michael Van Gerwen, who doesn't miss, nobody's going to throw a dart at my head with an apple on it.
And Neil says...
I think I am some sort of an idiot.
5'8 3/4, ha.
Yeah?
So I don't think anyone believes that.
Who's that?
That's from Neil.
Well, Neil, you've never met me, so you can't really pass opinion on the height of my bodily frame, can you? If you haven't met me, huh?
This one from Andrew says, forget darts. I'd love to see apples and bullets.
Apples Apples? You can't throw apples at people.
What?
Can't throw apples.
No, I think he means shooting bullets at the apple.
Well, that'd be even easier, wouldn't it? Any marksman.
Easier?
Yeah, if you gave me an air rifle and put an apple on your head, I'd get it right in the middle because I'm good at that.
I very much doubt it.
I would, yeah.
Well, you're going to tell me you're a great marksman now as well.
I'm very good marksman.
In addition to being a fantastic boxer, a wonderful midfield dynamo, a terrific cricketer.
I've got a fantastic eye for a gun.
Well, once we've done the penalty shootout, which I'm now hopeful we'll be able to do one of these Sundays that we're in.
Yes.
Maybe we should have a shooting competition.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
You know, on those fairground ones with the ducks.
I'll bring an AK-47.
Bang,
I'll bring an AK-47.
Bang, bang, bang. 12 ducks down, just like that, without even blinking.
Shoot ducks?
Yeah.
That's not very nice. You're supposed to look after ducks.
The metal ducks, you idiot,
right.
in a fairground thing.
Okay.
Now, I've got a big announcement here, and this vindicates everything I've been saying for the last 3 years, okay?
Yeah.
Listen to this headline here. Jose and Sir Bobby clear the air. Jose Mourinho marked his first day at his new Manchester United office by making his peace with Sir Bobby Charlton. The special one was full of charm as he was greeted on his first trip to United's Carrington base by Sir Bobby, who is believed to have had doubts about his appointment.
Yes.
Haven't I been saying it for the last 3 years?
You have indeed.
Sir Bobby Charlton said, we don't want his sort round here, and that stopped Jose Mourinho.
Well, those his actual words, though.
Yes, they were his actual words. In an interview he did for one of the, the heavy papers.
Yeah.
We don't want his sort here. That's what he actually said.
And what does he mean by that?
What he meant was that his attitude, at that time he'd had the incident where he'd poked his finger in the eye of
that game,
fellow trainer.
Villanova.
Villanova, that's right, yeah.
The Barcelona guy.
And that he made outlandish statements, that he was very active on the touchline, that he constantly showed little respect for the opposition and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
So Bobby Charlton said, we don't want his sort round here.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that has now condemned Manchester United to 3 years of penury in football terms, and Jose's now back, and Sir Bobby Charlton has had to eat humble pie.
Indeed. It's one of those meetings you'd quite like to be a fly on the wall at.
Yeah.
I would have said.
And I tell you what, it's a meeting at which Sir Bobby Charlton will have found it very hard to smile.
Because it's basically Bobby Charlton 0, Jose Mourinho 5.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, he totally walked all over him.
That's right. And when you look at the amount of... If Sir Bobby Charlton and Jose Mourinho were both bottles, OK?
Yeah.
You'd say that Sir Bobby Charlton is 100% full of Manchester United elixir, right?
What is that?
It's an elixir.
A Manchester United elixir.
Well,
what is
it's
it?
the elixir of Manchester United.
Sure, you're not getting a bit too flowery here.
No, I'm not. Whereas if Jose...
elixir of Manchester United.
If Jose Mourinho was a bottle, at the moment, only 5% of him is the Manchester United elixir, isn't it?
It's Premier Cru, though.
Well, yeah, but whatever. But what I'm saying is, Sir Bobby
because you're going to carry the analogy all the way, then, in that case. Well, what's in a bottle of? What's it full of, then?
It's full of nothing until you pour the elixir of Manchester United in.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
You're suggesting that Jose Mourinho as a bottle would have nothing in it.
That's
completely wrong.
No, you don't understand. What's happened is the bottle has in it an elixir of football success from Jose Mourinho. What he's now done is...
So it's mixed up, in other words.
No, he's taken the cap off the bottle and he's emptied all that away.
Yeah.
Empty bottle, start again, Manchester United. But so far, on what he's achieved at Manchester United, which is nothing, he's only got 5% of elixir Manchester United fluid in it.
Absolutely ridiculous thing to
No,
come
it's
out
not.
with.
You ask the audience. That's a great analogy.
No, it isn't.
Bobby
you
Charlton.
Don't do analogies.
Bobby Charlton, if he was a bottle, has 100%
I'll tell you what Bobby Charlton is.
of Man United
He's a bottle of
elixir.
bitter right now because he's got to put up with...
I think that's very unfair.
He's got to put up with something that he said should never happen.
I think
he's had to eat humble pie and he won't be happy about it.
I think that's very unfair.
And I believe that Ed Woodward has probably made him have the meeting.
Well, I'm sure he has,
And they PR'd the hell out of it. It's all over the papers, right? And there's all these pictures of LVG. There's a funny one
They're
on the
not
back
very
of the...
good pictures, though, are they?
Well, no.
It looks like they're taken from distance.
Yeah, but they want that. Do you
Yeah.
remember these? Do you remember these kind of stories from your day? Surely,
well,
when you'd
sort
go,
of, yeah.
when you'd go here, I'd have the picture be taken from a long way away, so it looks as if we didn't invite people in.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have thought there was any need for that, really, to be honest. But anyway, there we are.
Yeah, but there's a great picture on the back of where you've got old Jose Mourinho being given a guided tour by Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward. He looks very scruffy, by the way, doesn't he?
Ed Woodward.
Ed Woodward. He's got sort of stubble. He's wearing an open neck shirt. And he's pointing, and the headline says, "That's where we sent LVG."
It's the modern day look. Now, listen. Before the end of the show tonight, you and I are going to have to give our definitive nomination for the 2 more players who are going to have to be dropped from the England squad before Roy Hodgson's announcement tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, we could do that next if you like.
Well, if you want to, but I'm very, very concerned that Ross Barkley might be a victim because he does not deserve to be a victim at all.
Well, on current form, you'd have to say he's very much below the line, wouldn't you?
No, I would say that Daniel Sturridge is still a terrific worry, and therefore I certainly wouldn't take him. If we say that Fabian Delph is already out, then there's one more to go. So we've got to think about who that's going to be.
Absolutely. Now, I've got a text here from someone saying that Kings Road has been closed for 4 weeks.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish somebody had told me.
Well, why don't you just look at the traffic reports?
Well, I don't think I have to. People should tell me. If they know where I'm going, I should be warned and indicated to.
Well, yeah, but you're the one that doesn't know where you're going. Why don't you go north in order to go south? It's stupid. JR says this, I think Porky should have the apple in his mouth.
Apple in his mouth? No, that could be dangerous.
And Matty says, is Porky going to mention Tony Bellew's win on Sunday?
Tony Bellew's win on Sunday.
Best thing won at Goodison in a while.
It was utterly fantastic. I watched the fight.
Did you watch it?
I was thrilled, yeah. I mean, when he went over in the first round, he literally went backwards in a somersault. Yeah. And that saved him. You see what I mean? Because he didn't try to resist it. No, didn't hit his head. His legs didn't go. He just literally did a backward somersault, got up again. Yeah. He was absolutely fine and then came out the second round.
I mean, that's the thing
bang,
the thing about boxers, isn't it? I mean, because he was on the Sports Bar earlier saying that, he's been knocked down before.
Yes.
And if he can get knocked down and still come back, that's great. The trouble with Amir Khan, for example, is when he gets knocked down, he doesn't get up again.
No, he goes up again. Same with Ricky, what's his name,
Huh?
Our boy from the north.
Ricky, what's his name?
Saw him fight in Las Vegas.
Who? Ricky Hatton, you mean?
Ricky Hatton.
Why can you remember his name?
I can remember his name. It's just that my mental image of Ricky Hatton veers between a slim, fit as a fiddle, fit as a butcher's dog boxer and a flabby bloke with a pint of Guinness in his hand. And I've seen him in both scenarios. You know what I mean?
Why don't you think of Ricky Fatman and then you'll remember his name?
Yeah, that's right, Ricky Fatman.
Right with you. Now,
that's a bit harsh.
It is harsh, yeah, sorry about that. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. Loads more coming up.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. It's winners and losers coming up a little bit later on. There will be a podcast coming out. Got some great tweets coming in, by the way.
Yes.
Barry here.
Yes.
Read a few more of them out. Daniel says this at the Two Mikes. Whatever Porky raises for charity with the apple stunt, I'll pay Van Gerwen double to pull his dart downwards by 3 inches.
Well, that's very nice. What, to injure me, you mean?
Yeah, apparently
that's
so.
Not very nice, is it?
Well, I mean, this is the way people feel about you.
That's not very nice.
Perhaps they're hoping a dart might puncture your pomposity.
Oh, dear me.
Mark the Taxi says, Porky would make a great Uber driver with that route. Absolutely clueless.
Oh, yeah, really? Yeah.
Well, I mean, why on earth would you drive north to go south? It makes no difference.
No, it doesn't. You don't understand the configuration of the river.
I do. Listen, I'm a Londoner, mate. I know London like the back of my hand.
And I know.
I can tell you how to get from A to B in
London. And I know
London.
If the King's Road hadn't been taken up, how quickly I would have got there. It's a lot quicker than going round the Wandsworth one-way system, believe me.
This is why I told you to check it, though.
No.
If you look on your information device...
Why don't we move on?
When you see the little red dots, that means there's traffic.
Now then, what are we going to do about the England squad?
Yet. Well, we'll do that in a second.
Yes.
How about this? Tomo says, what is Porky's word for the week? Idiot. He keeps calling me an idiot.
Right.
And people have picked up on that.
Stop being idiotic.
And also, Alex says, are we having basketball updates tonight again? Thunder against Golden State. Yes, Game 7. It's a deciding game, I believe. So, yes, I will be giving you updates. And I might even get Porky to do a bit of commentary for you.
No, you won't.
That'd be great.
No, you won't.
And Russell says this, look, quickest route from Lambeth, Bridge, Vauxhall, Nine Elms Lane, Battersea Park Road, York Road, Swandon Way, High Street onto A3. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. If I did commentary on basketball tonight, it would be, and they've scored, and they've gone up the other end, and they've scored. They've gone down the other end, they've scored.
I'm going to get you to do it.
They've scored, they've scored, they've scored, they've scored, they've scored, they've scored, they've scored. That's all basketball's about.
Well, all right. Well, that's what every sport is about.
That's
about scoring, isn't it?
No, they score every 30 seconds in basketball. And the score is usually about 123 to 117. That's the way it is.
All right.
It's so boring, it's unbelievable.
I think the listeners, I'm sure.
And
I'm sure
made Milwaukee famous, made a loser. They're playing the LA Clippers.
What was on the other side of that single?
What made Milwaukee famous, made a loser out of me?
Yeah.
Could it have been...
By Rod Stewart.
Could it have been Maggie May?
No.
I tell you what it could have been. A Reason to Believe. No, I'll tell you what it was.
It was a Jimi Hendrix song.
Jimi Hendrix song. In that case, it was Someone Like You. Oh, no, it's Reason to Believe, isn't it? It was, hang on, it was...
Come on, how many Jimi Hendrix songs did Rod Stewart record?
Well, hang on. Oh, could it have been... Yeah, I know what it was.
Yeah, go on.
I know what it was.
Go on. Thinking aloud.
Thinking aloud.
It's not a quiz.
No,
it's
but I know what it was. It was the Jimi Hendrix song with the great guitar riff at the start. Yeah?
Well, Hey Joe. Purple Haze.
No. Purple Haze.
Do you think Rod Stewart did Purple Haze?
No, he didn't do Purple Haze, you idiot.
I put you out of your misery.
He did something Haze.
Huh?
He did something Haze, Jimi Hendrix, didn't he?
No, but Jimi Hendrix did Purple Haze.
Oh, really?
But Rod Stewart didn't record it.
Right, what was it then?
It was called Angel.
Angel.
No, that wasn't the way it goes.
No,
we'll play it out the next break.
I don't think we should. That? It doesn't sound very interesting. Now
Tomo says, is there no end to Porky's talents? Now he's an experienced rifleman.
Well, I don't know what you're laughing at.
Rifleman?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Since when? When was the last time you shot anything?
That
doesn't count at a fair.
The reason I was known as Dead-Eyed Dick in my pond...
I thought that was because of darts.
It was. That's what I was saying.
Well,
that's what I was saying.
to do with shooting a gun.
Of course it has.
How?
It means that your eye's in on a target, right?
Rubbish.
So when I was at the University of the Trent and I was leading the darts team, we beat...
How many people were in the darts team?
How many?
You said you were leading the darts.
Four. There was four. And we beat a team which contained a News of the World Champion, which was like being world champion in those days, believe me.
Well, not really.
It was. Honestly, if you won the News of the World competition, you were like the world champ before there was a world championship. And I was known as Dead-Eye Dick because I was so good.
Yeah, that might be the reason.
And consequently, it meant that my ability for what you call hand-to-eye coordination can translate either through the throwing of a dart or the squeezing of a trigger on a gun through a crosshair.
Well, there's a lot more to it.
No, honestly. I don't know why you'd even doubt it.
Well,
it's something I'm naturally...
Of course. Why would I doubt anything you say?
It's something I'm naturally gifted at.
Really?
And by the way, I've got such great control over my physique that I don't need to put the rifle or the gun on any sort of a rest or
this
a
is
tripod.
My rifle, this is my gun.
I just raise it to my shoulder, raise the sight to my eyes, home in on the target, and then bang.
And what about the kickback?
A kill.
What about the kickback?
Yeah, I can do that. I can get my shoulder in exactly the right place so that, the retort from the gun doesn't disturb my aim.
Because if you know what you're doing, you can dislocate your shoulder.
Well, you could, indeed, I agree. Yeah, but fortunately, I do know what I'm doing.
All right. Well, we'll have a competition some other time.
I went on a shooting range once with the Army in Birmingham.
Did you?
And I was so good that one of the secretaries fancied me because...
One of the secretaries?
Yeah, no, seriously.
What was the secretary doing at the firing range?
Well, it was it was a Birmingham Evening Mail thing.
No, you could go to the firing range and find a secretary to Roger.
No, seriously, they all came. All the secretaries.
Well, the secretaries all came along.
I'm telling you, it was a Sunday afternoon and it was the Birmingham Evening Mail day out with the Army.
So you weren't actually invited on your own?
No, not
it was the whole paperwork.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we go to, I think it was somewhere like Lichfield or something like that. There was an army base there. And, of course, the Birmingham Mail was a massive paper in those days. It used to sell 300,000 a night. So it was the paper of Birmingham, obviously. So they said, come along, chaps, a bit of shooting, a few drinks afterwards and all that.
Right.
So all the secretaries came, about 6 of them, seriously.
Right.
And one of them was so... I know what her name was. Her name was Carol.
Carol?
And she was...
Don't say her name.
No. She was so impressed with my shooting prowess.
Really?
That, she sort of, if you can imagine it, she was sort of rubbing her hand up and down my arm and sort of saying, golly, what strong arms you've got and all this kind of stuff.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
What'd she look like?
She was a bubbly little blonde with a terrific figure. Seriously. That's
one of the great descriptions.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just typical of you.
No.
A bubbly little blonde with a great figure.
Yeah.
Like a true man.
No, seriously, that's exactly what she was like.
All right. And how did it work out with her?
It worked out very well.
Did it?
Oh, very well indeed, yeah.
Well, that night?
She used to wear pencil skirts, which I thought was very attractive, and high heels and that kind of stuff,
Stockings, probably.
Seamed stockings, believe it or not.
Seamed stockings.
Yeah. So, she was a bit of a sort of, throwback to this sort of glamour day sort of thing. But the other interesting fact about this, which is very interesting, guess who came last in the competition?
I have no idea.
And won the wooden spoon?
Don't know.
Richard Littlejohn.
Really?
He was useless. He was so bad, he hit somebody else's target.
Right.
I mean, he was that bad.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
he was the industrial correspondent on the Birmingham Mail at the time.
Right.
And it was funny because
so no secretary action for him then?
No, none at all. No, he's always been a family man, Rich, hasn't he? All his life.
Absolutely right. Now, what about this England squad?
The England squad, right? Okay.
I know. These reminiscences are getting all dewy-eyed.
No, not at all. Yeah. Right, the two that've got to go, in my view, right. Now, either a defender's got to go.
Yeah.
And if that...
Why do you get rid of a defender?
Well, I'm telling you, because there's a lot of defenders there. Some of them can play left and right. I thought Ryan Bertrand had a great game for him the other night. And if a defender had to go, it would have to be, I'm afraid, Kyle Walker of Tottenham, OK?
Why? Why wouldn't you get rid of John Stones instead?
Well, because John Stones
take off your Everton hat for a minute, right? John Stones, out of all of those players, surely has had one of the worst seasons.
No, not so. And by the way, John Stones can play in the middle of the defence or play it right back.
Well, you might not want him anywhere near the defence the way he's been playing for Everton.
Well, anyway, look, it would have to be for me either that...
I wouldn't drop Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker's been playing well this season.
Well, I know. A lot of them have been playing well,
but
someone's
John
got to go.
Stones hasn't. That's my point.
If we accept the fate...
And I'm not picking on Everton players here, but Ross Barkley, who's in their firing line possibly as well, he's had a pretty awful season too.
If we accept that Fabian Delph is already going, then 2 more need to go.
Yes.
So I wouldn't actually make it a defender. I would keep Kyle Walker. The 2 that would go for me would be Daniel Sturridge, because he isn't going to be fit, and there's no guarantee of that.
Well, he trained apparently, full training.
Yeah, okay,
yesterday.
that's fine. But we've got a great forward line there. Marcus Rashford must go.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy's brilliant. Harry Kane is brilliant. Then backed up by Wayne Rooney.
So if you take Sturridge out, you've got one more player to lose, right?
Yeah, and that would be Andres Townsend in the midfield.
Why?
And I'd keep Kyle Walker.
He's had a great season.
He has, but it's been in a poor team, so it's very difficult to judge how good he's been. He's been in a very poor team. Newcastle have been relegated.
He's in a team that got relegated, but his performances for them have been pretty good.
I think that's a bad measure. I think to say, this boy really excelled in a poor team.
Why wouldn't you just drop Wilshere?
I personally would, but I know that's not going to happen. Right? I know that's not going to happen.
I mean, he wasn't very impressive at the week on Friday night, was he?
I totally agree with you. I would take Wilshere out, but we're trying to predict what Roy Hodgson's going to do.
All right, but I'll tell you what, why don't you predict what Roy Hodgson's going to do,
Yeah.
and then you can tell us what you would do,
Okay.
and then we'll do the same. I'll do the same thing.
Okay, I predict Roy Hodgson will keep Daniel Sturridge, and I predict he will drop Ross Barkley, and Andres Townsend.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And which is a shame, because Ross Barkley should go. He's a great player. What I would do is I would drop Daniel Sturridge and Andres Townsend.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll tell you what I think. I don't agree. I don't agree with you that he'll drop Barkley, even though I think he should. Because I think the thing about Roy Hodgson is that he loves these players that have played for him, and he's very loyal to them. I also think he's loyal to Andres Townsend.
Yes.
And I think he'll keep Townsend. I think he will keep Barkley. I think he'll drop Drinkwater. And I think he might drop Sturridge, actually. Because I think he'll be hoping to get some kind of news on Sturridge's injury. Because imagine what he does if he picks Sturridge, and then 2 days down the road he discovers that he can't play.
Yeah, sure.
I would basically, I would drop Wilshere.
I think it'd be very unkind to drop.
I don't want to know what I'd do.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I'm doing.
I thought you told me.
No, I told you what I thought Hodgson would do.
Right, okay, go on.
Well, now I'm going to tell you what I would do.
Go on.
I would drop Sturridge and Wilshere.
Right, okay. Well, that's what I said.
Hey?
That's what I said.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You said you wouldn't drop Wilshere.
No, I said Roy Hodgson won't drop Wilshere.
You said you would drop Walker.
Hey?
You said you were going to drop Walker.
No, I didn't. You weren't listening.
Yeah, I was listening.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
We'll go back on it then.
You said you'd drop Andros Townsend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you would drop, and you wouldn't drop Ross Barkley because you want to keep him in there.
Yeah.
And you said you don't think that he will drop Sturridge.
I don't think he will drop Sturridge, but I would.
What do you mean we agree then?
Yeah, we agree, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely agree, yeah.
So you would drop Sturridge and Wilshere?
I would indeed.
Really?
Yes.
Blimey.
Yes.
That's the first.
And by the way, I wouldn't drop Danny Drinkwater and hope he doesn't, because it's all very well to say, he's on the brink, but he's played in a Premier League Championship winning team.
Yeah.
And therefore,
exactly. He's a winner, by definition.
He's a winner, and nobody full of more confidence than Danny Drinkwater.
Yeah.
He must go.
I'm slightly worried about the fact that we agree on it, but there we are.
Yeah.
Coming up next, though, we're going to speak to Alan Berg about the Monaco Grand Prix, which was quite spectacular. This is TalkSport.
What a bird.
Angel came down from heaven yesterday, stayed with me long enough to rescue me, and she told me a story yesterday about the sweet love between the moon and the deep blue sea.
Good, isn't it?
What?
It's good, isn't it?
It's good, yeah. Sorry.
What's wrong with you? I'm
trying to
paying
get
attention to the song.
No. It's blinking watch
What are
of
you
mine.
doing your watch?
I don't know. It's gone on hour fast, and I'm trying to get it back.
How's it got an hour fast?
I don't know. It's got all these buttons on it. It says adjust, reverse, forward, and mode. and it just suddenly shot forward an hour.
Why would it shoot forward an hour?
I thought
does it think it's daylight savings or something?
Well, no, I thought it was linked to like a big radio signal in rugby or somewhere.
What?
We're going to rugby, aren't we?
We are
for the
going
live
to rugby.
show.
Yeah.
I'm sure
July,
that in rugby
16th.
there's a radio signal which regulates
Do you
watches.
mean a transmitter?
Yeah, and
A transmitter that regulates watches?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know there is.
It looks like an Action Man watch.
Hey?
It's a ridiculous looking watch.
No, it's a plastic one, and it's for
Who's
outward
made it?
bound. It's for outward bound stuff.
What do you mean outward bound?
Well, when I go walking across the downs, I always take this because it's waterproof, see? So if I fall over in a puddle or something, I don't wreck my watch.
It's not much use if it doesn't tell the right time.
Well, no, it's true. It's a
What
shock resist.
make is it?
Casio.
Casio.
Is that a good? Yeah, that's a good name,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
all right.
Yeah. It's a shock-absorbing structure. So that's why I've got it. You know, it's rigid. It's rugged. It's not rigid.
It doesn't work.
Well,
Get rid of it.
Yeah, I have to
Why don't you
admit,
get one of the guys behind the glasses here, they fix it for you?
it's got a button here which says reverse. So I'm
Right.
trying to try and get it back.
Well,
an
that's
hour,
what you
right?
have to do every time you come out with anything that's wrong.
No, hang on.
You make the noise.
But guess what happens when I press the reverse button?
I don't know, you don't go backwards?
No, the face lights up. So I don't know whether it's in the wrong gear or something. You know.
Yeah, there's obviously something wrong. It was like, do you remember when they first brought computers into Wapping? And they were giving people a test, and one of these subs, who was very clever, he says, how come when I hit shift and end, my shift doesn't end?
Yes, that's very funny.
I know,
anyway,
really.
I can't work that one
listen,
out.
We're going to talk to Alan Berg, because he's waiting very
Yep.
patiently. He's former Formula One driver, of course, himself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Monaco Grand Prix. Guys, it was a very exciting one. Alan, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Mike and Mike, a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
on.
not
Thank
at
you
all.
very much indeed for joining us.
Now, we were actually in here at TalkSport yesterday as the race started, and it was incredible to see the amount of,
rain.
first of all, the amount of rain and the safety car being out for the first few laps, and then a couple of cars just spinning off without really any reason at all. And as Monaco Grand Prix go, it was actually rather exciting.
It absolutely was. I think this year is a great year. It's great to see the level of competition coming out with Red Bull picking up the pace, Ferrari coming up a little bit as well too, and the playing field becoming a little bit more level. And seeing the Monaco Grand Prix, it just occurred to me that there's probably not a greater challenge in motorsport than driving at Monte Carlo in the rain, except for maybe driving at Monte Carlo. Probably even a greater challenge would be Monte Carlo on a drying track on slicks. So really exciting stuff going on out there.
Indeed. And were you at all surprised, Alan, that Lewis Hamilton said it was the most difficult finish of his life? Because, of course, he had Daniel Ricciardo inches from his back wheel on the last 11 laps, just trying to overtake him, full of anger because his pit team had got the wrong tyres out when he pulled in to get his tyres changed. And for Lewis Hamilton, if he'd have made a mistake that was only 1/8 of an inch going round a corner, he'd have thrown that race, wouldn't he?
There's no margin for error at that track. And like I said, driving on a track in those kind of conditions, first of all, you get a drying line coming out on the racing line.
Yeah.
But if you move off of the racing line by a couple of inches, you're on a damp track on slicks.
Yeah, sure.
And again, no forgiveness in that track. And that's why there were so many incidents out there. Just to try to pull a pass off in those conditions, very difficult to pull off on the damp track. And then for Lewis, of course, under pressure, for almost half the race from Danielle.
Yeah, exactly.
Lead.
Exactly.
Danielle's obviously had the pace, holding that off. Even Monaco, at the best of times, tough place to pass on. But, like I said, no margin for error. So, I can understand him.
Now, Alan, from a driver's point of view, since you were one yourself, and I don't know whether it's changed now as far as the communications might be better between, the pit team and the driver himself. But, I mean, how important is it that you get along with them? Because, obviously, we've seen Lewis Hamilton have problems with Mercedes in the past. He's sometimes thought that they've made the wrong choices. And Ricciardo, obviously, will think the same after this weekend. It's quite a complicated relationship, isn't it?
It is, but I think in race condition, any type of personal relationships will be put aside because you got to get on with the task at hand. Lewis and the other drivers, and of course everyone in the Mercedes, everyone in Formula One are all professionals. They're there to do a job. They're all there to win, and they will know what they take. Racing drivers are special personalities. They're ones that very competitive.
Yeah.
And very high-strung individuals, particularly in a race situation. And so you want to win. When you're out there, and particularly when you get into a level of experience where these fellows are at, they have the experience to be able to get out there and drive and understand the strategies that are going on. If there's something that they're not in agreement with, then, they have the ability to call it out and question it on the radio. What's really interesting is the ability that as race fans, we can now really hear a lot of these radio communications going on, and that adds another level of interest to the sport and to viewing, watching it on TV.
Certainly does. Now, Alan, what do you think about Lewis Hamilton's insinuation, he hasn't made a direct accusation, but insinuation that Mercedes have shuffled the teams around in the garage? These are the teams that service the respective cars for him and Nico Rosberg. And Lewis Hamilton is insinuating that they've swapped those teams around from the 2 years successively when he became world champion to try and balance up the chances of Nico Rosberg perhaps taking the title this year.
Well, I think that the quality of staffing at that level, they're all good. Everybody that on that racing team would be top level, world class. And maybe more than anything, it's personalities. Maybe Lewis has been happy with the relationship that he's had with his team so far.
Well, that's what I mean. If they've worked together for 2 years, and they've got 2 successive world championships, why on earth would Mercedes say, right, now tell you what, for this season, that crew over there will go to Nico and Nico's crew will come to you? I can't understand that. A working relationship is based on experience, trust, belief in each other. I can't understand why they would do that.
Is that what you mean, like our working relationship?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
I could hear the banter going on in the background between you guys.
Yes.
And I think Formula One's probably not a lot dissimilar to to what's going on between you fellows. I don't know. There has to be some internal reasons for that. In terms of balance the playing field between Lewis and Nico, I can't really see they're making changes for that reason. Maybe there's some other. There's something else going on in the background there that we as fans don't know about. In terms of his insinuation on that sort of thing.
Yeah. And how bad?
He's got it.
How bad was it for Daniel Ricciardo? He was leading the race, and if they'd have changed the tyres in the normal time they do, 7 or 8 seconds, he would have won that race. To say he's frustrated is an understatement. You could see it in his face when he was on the podium, coming second. But will a member of that pit crew now disappear for the rest of the season? Because it's a shocking error to make, isn't it?
I think it's a managerial error somewhere along the line where the communication wasn't relating to the garage, what tires to bring out at what time.
Yeah, how does that system work, Alan? If you can tell us, at what point does somebody make the final decision? Because presumably you have to be working on local conditions, you have to be looking at the way the race is going. There's a lot to think about.
Sure.
Certainly, there's ultimately one person that makes the call, and the communication is passed down through the sequence of commands to get the tires prepared and get them out in time. In terms of the actual order of how this all occurs and trying to pin the blame on one person, that might be a kind of a difficult one to be able to pull, to make. There's probably more complicating factors than what we might see from the outside. However, I can certainly understand his frustration in that in the previous Grand Prix, he had a chance to win.
He did.
The strategy was taken that, his teammate was put on a different strategy, went on to win. I think at the time when they make these calls, if there's no clear strategy they know is going to work out, then it's a 50-50 call. What do you do? Do you go for the extra pit stop, or do you not? They decided to go on the route that ultimately cost them the victory.
Yeah.
But it certainly could have gone the other way as well too. That the calls that they made for Danielle's tires would have worked out in his favor.
Yeah.
But coming off a race where you could have won, and then coming to the Monaco Grand Prix, and having what is just clearly an error somewhere along the lines in getting the equipment out getting the tires out on time, that really has got to be incredibly frustrating.
Oh yes.
And then to go and know that you've got the fastest car on the track, but at a track like Monte Carlo, so difficult to pass on. Certainly understands frustration.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the situation now, Alan, is that Nico Rosberg's run of 7 consecutive victories has come to an end, right? And he did the decent thing. He moved over and let Lewis Hamilton go through. He had to because his car was running so badly. But Lewis Hamilton is a 3 times world champion and he's won the last 2. The mind game now passes to Lewis Hamilton, doesn't it?
Well, Nico's thinking about championship right now. He's thinking about points, finishing. He's put together a number of victories this year, and so he's playing the long game in terms of it was tough conditions out there, and obviously pushing it hard. There's a risk of putting in the wall. Lewis really didn't have anything to lose. He went out there and went for it, went for the victory. And Nico was thinking about accruing more championship points.
Yeah, but finished way down, didn't he, in 7th?
He did, yeah. Alan, listen, we've got to leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed,
Alan Berg, their former driver himself, giving us some inside sort of info on how it all works at the Monaco Grand Prix. This is Talk Sport.
Angel come down from heaven yesterday. She stayed with me just long enough for afternoon tea. And she tell me a story.
That's the original, of course.
What's that?
That's the original.
Original what?
The original of Angel.
Well, is that Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like him.
You don't think so?
No, he sounds like country and western singer in that one.
No, he doesn't.
He does.
Sounds just like him.
Doesn't sound like it to me.
You want to have another listen?
No. I've listened to enough of it, thank you. I just passed my opinion on it. I don't think it sounds like Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, keep your hair on.
It's one of Jimi Hendrix's less popular ones, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, all right. Here's one from James. He says, you want to hope Ricky Hatton isn't listening to you two coming out with a fatten joke. He'll come down and put you both to sleep. He may well do that. But, that's the kind of risk we put ourselves into sometimes when you say
When I was in Las Vegas with Ricky, I was with his family group, his dad and
got a lot of time here,
fiancée and all that. And it was all, it was very, very comfortable sort of working arrangement and all that. So I think he'd probably spare me.
All right.
He knows it's tongue-in-cheek.
Ian says the secretary was stroking your arm and a guide dog was pawing your leg.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
Good. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. And, of course, we are doing the warm-up again next Sunday from 11 o'clock, so keep your eyes out for that.
Excellent.
We are in the process also of trying to sort out our penalty shootout that we're going to try and film over in the Talk Sport Towers football area.
That's right.
And so we'll bring you news on that.
And I'm sure Noble will reminding them week on Friday we're at Dingwalls in Camden Town.
Yeah, the legendary Dingwalls.
Yeah, now let me tell you about Camden Town. That's why I raised it. Over the weekend I saw Amy Winehouse, The Real Story.
Oh, I was going to say, you saw Amy Winehouse.
No, I didn't.
It's a great film, that, isn't it?
It's tragic.
It is.
It's
terrible.
It's
very, very well made documentary.
To see her talking in her early 20s, so lucid, so talented, her observations on life, her remarks about, her own talent and how she used it and all that, and then to see how it all ended. Tragic, utterly tragic.
Absolutely. And when you ever see people like that who are that talented and who just kind of burn out, I mean, it is always awful, but there's almost something about them that's all the same. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, yeah. I mean, look, don't throw accusations all over the place unless you know the inside story and all that, but without a shadow of a doubt, until she met that guy, Blake's Field of Civil, or whatever his name was, she wasn't a drug addict, and then, whatever happened, whichever circle she was mixed in, she became a drug addict.
Yeah. But funny enough, it wasn't the drugs that killed her, really. No, it was the drink, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but the point is, the reason she took so much drink, it's a classic addict thing. She got hooked on drugs. Yeah. And when you're a drug addict, it's very difficult to get off drugs. Yeah. And when you do get off drugs, you normally get addicted to something else. Yeah. Eric Clapton, I think, was a heroin addict or something for about 10 years. The only way he got off it was become an alcoholic. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened to Amy Winehouse. She became a chronic alcoholic.
But also, physically, she was so small.
She was emaciated.
She couldn't take the toxins, really.
Years of abuse and all that kind of stuff. So she died in the end from drinking whiskey. Yeah. There was one part in that which said that they talked to a friend who used to go out with her around the pubs at Camden and all that. Apparently she could drink vodka literally by the bottle. And often did in measures of triple vodkas. Yeah. Get me another one, get me another one, get me another one. They used to go down like water and all that.
I know.
I mean, that was part of her driven nature, I'm sure. Always got to be doing something or something like that. Yeah. But very tragic anyway.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm very pleased you've watched it, though, because that is a great sort of expansive way of broadening your knowledge of rock and roll and music and all that.
She was a fascinating woman. She died at 27 in a very palatial house in Camden Town, which is where we're performing next. Was quite moving,
There was a few people stabbed up there at the weekend, actually.
Where? In Camden?
Camden, yeah.
Why,
it's becoming a very dodgy place. So
really?
You've got to be careful when you make sure you don't wander off after the show. Staggering off to the tube. We'll get your car all
Won't be anything that for me. By the way, talking about people misbehaving over the weekend, Millwall fans. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Thought we got rid of all that 30 years ago.
I know.
We'll talk about that later.
Exactly right. Now, let me give you a couple of tweets here.
Okay.
This is great from O'Hara. He says, is Porky's Casio like John Candy's in Planes, Trains and Automobiles?
Well, actually...
Have you seen that?
No.
You haven't seen Planes, Trains and Automobiles?
No.
For heaven's sake.
Who's in that?
John Candy.
Well, he's dead, isn't he?
Well, of course he is. He was alive when he made the film.
Yeah, well, of course he was, yeah. Well, did it look like that, if you've seen the film?
To be honest, I don't know the film as well as he does.
Oh, I see. So he asked me if I've seen the film. I say no. Then when I ask you, is this the same watch?
No, excuse me.
You say, I don't know. I don't think I've seen it either.
Well, no, that's not what I said.
What a muppet head you are.
That's not what I said. I said I've seen the film several times, but what I haven't done is concentrated on his phone, on his watch.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It's all about a guy who's trying to get from one place to another in America, right? And he gets, the snowstorms, he gets stymied at every point, his flight gets cancelled, he has to try and get a car and drive somewhere. It's a fantastic film. You'd like it.
Is it really fantastic?
It is.
Great. Good to hear that.
Here's one from Adam. It says 7 or 8 seconds. Try 2 seconds. Found something Porky doesn't know.
What? What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean? What's the 7 or 8
Well, it
seconds
must have been
thing?
something to do with your conversation about Formula 1.
No, didn't I say... Yeah, what did I say? 7 or 8 seconds?
Well, you said 7 or 8 seconds, and he said try 2 seconds.
No, I think that was
What was
related
that in reference to?
To shooting, I think, wasn't it? Or something
Shooting?
Like that. Yeah,
Really?
my ability to
I would take
shooting.
2 goalkeepers, says JR. You don't need 3.
Oh, you do? Honest to God, you do.
Right.
Because if one gets injured in training and you've only got 2, you've got nobody on the bench.
Well,
Well, you can't go into a football match without a spare goalkeeper on the bench for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
He might get sent off. He might get into a collision.
Yeah, but in that case, you have to take loads of people. Maybe you take a player that's actually not bad at goalkeeping.
Well, that's a very rare player.
Why would you sacrifice a forward if you didn't have to take 3?
You have to take 3
I think
goalkeepers.
you do have to take 3.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one from Robin Luton? Mike,
Yes.
would it be possible for me to take a shot at Mr. Parry? And can I use a Barrett 50 calibre? I'll try it blindfolded if you like.
That is very harsh, and I'm not going to respond to
What
that.
voice is that?
Well, I don't know.
You sound like a mixture of Sven Göran Eriksson and Graham Kelly.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now then.
Now, we've got to do listography as well, which we
Listography.
can talk about later on
Yes,
if you wish.
yes, definitely.
Steve says, no, don't reverse it more, move it forward. Have you seen the time?
Yeah, well, listen, talking about the time, guess whose birthday it is today over in Hollywood?
In Hollywood, I don't know.
Clint Eastwood is 86.
Is he really?
Good God.
Blimey.
Hollywood A-list actor and director who's been on our screens for 7 decades since the first starring role. I remember this, by the way.
What's that?
Rowdy Yates.
You remember that?
In Rawhide. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Actually, Rawhide, I kind of vaguely remember. Yeah.
Wasn't that the one with, hurry 'em up, move around, wagon train?
Well, it was Rawhide. Yeah, it was Rawhide. Yeah, there was a whip.
There was a whip,
and
wasn't
it? Was
there?
Rawhide,
Yeah. How did it start, wasn't it?
Well, I'm sure we can find it.
Herd 'em up, move 'em out, roll 'em in, roll 'em down, wagon train,
Roll them down. I don't think it was Wagon Train. It was Rawhide, they say.
Yeah, but I think Wagon Train
Really?
was the theme music for Rawhide.
I don't
wasn't
know.
it? I think it was.
Jackson says, what an idiot. No Everton player should be near that England squad. They were pathetic this season, and even Barkley's not that great.
Right, well, listen, I have some news.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know this as factual, but I'm
good.
reading several
it's
reports.
not actually news, then?
Well, I'm reading several reports, which other people will become aware of for the next few hours, that Everton, apparently, as I say, I'm not talking about inside knowledge here, are prepared to offer Mr. Koeman...
Koeman?
Koeman, down in Southampton.
You're still banging on about this.
I certainly am.
You signed a deal with Southampton.
Hang on, I told you 3 months ago when Roberto was on the skids and now has gone.
Yeah.
I've maintained.
Where do you think he's going to turn up, by the way?
I don't know. I'll answer that one in a minute.
Right.
I have maintained a very consistent pattern that Everton had their eyes on Mr. Koeman, right?
Yes.
And that they would love him to come to Everton. Now, the latest I'm reading is that...
Isn't it a little bit kind of desperate, though, for them to keep going on about it?
No.
Because, yes, they want him, but he's already indicated that he doesn't want to come.
No, he hasn't. He's in negotiations with Southampton. He's got an open mind about it because he's a very good manager. But the latest news is that Everton have vowed or vouched to pay him double whatever Southampton offer him in their contract.
That's what I mean. It sounds desperate.
Up to £6 million a year.
And that would make him the 3rd highest paid manager in the league.
It would, yeah. That's brilliant.
Which is crazy.
Well, I think it's brilliant.
No, it's not brilliant.
I think it's a sign of new commitment within Everton. I love it. I love it.
No, you cannot buy it. No, you can't buy the league.
Money rules the world.
No. It's not going to happen.
It does.
He's not going to go there.
Of course he could.
Southampton finished above Everton.
Yeah.
He's got more chance to get to the Champions League with Southampton.
I don't think so, mate.
He
I think we're restructured Everton, him in control, a lot more money available for players, plus 100 million you get anyway, and clubs of Everton's size now inspired by Leicester's magnificent adventure and success last season? No, I think it'll all change next season. I really do. I think clubs.
So, what's your predicted finishing point for Everton?
Well, I'm not going to say that because I don't know. Because I don't know who the manager's going to be yet, do I? If it was Koeman, I think we'd have a really, really good chance.
He's not a bad manager, but he's not
very good.
He's not better than Jose Mourinho. He's not better than Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
He's not better than Pep Guardiola.
Well, they're not available to Everton.
He's not better than Antonio Conte.
They've all got jobs.
Yeah, I know they have, but they're all great managers.
Okay, they've all got
when
jobs.
When people talk about all the great managers that are in the Premier League, Ronald Koeman is a good manager, but he's not a great manager.
Well, all right, you could have said that about Claudio Ranieri at the start of last season.
No, I actually said Claudio Ranieri was a great manager. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but you didn't say he was going to win the Premier League.
I said he would be very good for Leicester.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that.
Well, he was very good for Leicester,
Do you know it's 100 years to the Battle of Jutland? No, since the Battle of Jutland. Did you know that? Did you know that?
And you've been in the time machine again.
No.
Prince, the Duke of Edinburgh's not going to the celebrations because he's not well.
Well, he's a bit old, isn't he?
Well, no, it's not. He's being old. He's just not very well.
Some would say the Battle of Jutland was even more important than the Battle of Trafalgar.
Really?
Seriously, in seagoing terms.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
When was it then? 100 years ago?
100 years ago. It was a massive battle between the German and the British navies.
Yeah.
Some 40 ships were lost in one battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And
so it was in the First World War then?
It was in the First World War. And tens of thousands of men, of course, died.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it wasn't tens of thousands. It was thousands of men died. And it was a bloody battle, I tell you.
Well, most of them are, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Now then...
Now, what about... I want to talk about Adebayo Akinfenwa.
Yes.
Do you know what his situation is?
He's unemployed, isn't he?
Yeah, he scores a goal, right, for AFC Wimbledon.
That's right.
Which puts them up into League One.
Indeed.
Where they're going to play the MK Dons, which has a fair amount of sort of schadenfreude about it, doesn't it?
Yep.
But he's afterwards, as you heard on our news,
Yeah.
he's basically saying people want to Snapchat him to find whether he can come and play for them.
Snapchat? Yes, I see what you mean. So put himself up to a public auction, so to speak.
Well, he just wants to get a job.
Yes. I don't blame him.
You want him at Everton?
Who?
Akinfenwa.
No, thank you.
Why not?
Because he's not good enough to play for a Premier League team with
you're
real
find
ambition.
Somebody to replace Lukaku, aren't you?
Well, we'll find somebody, don't worry.
All right, I'm not worried.
Matt Hughes.
Seen the time, by the way.
Matt Hughes of the Times, I'm just looking at tomorrow morning's paper, says Drinkwater and Townsend
to come out.
Yeah.
See, I think Hodgson will stick with Townsend, but anyway, we shall see. Oklahoma City Thunder against the Golden State Warriors is underway. Finally 14-10 to Oklahoma City. And we're going to get Porky to do some.
Who cares?
We're going to get Porky to do some commentary. This is Talk Sport.
Keep moving, moving, moving. Though they're disapproving, keep them doggies moving right. Don't try to understand them, just rope, throw and brand them. Soon we'll be living high and wide. My heart's calculating, my true love will be waiting at the end of my ride. Move 'em on, hit 'em up, hit 'em up, move 'em on, hit 'em up, rawhide.
Oh, that's a bit I love.
Yeah, I know. But there's nothing to do with a wagon train.
It is. Move on.
There'll be another whip here, I think.
Yeah.
If you listen. There you go. See, they don't mention wagon trains at all.
No, that's
you got it completely wrong.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was Clint Eastwood's debut on television as a cowboy.
Right.
And
Should we do a quiz on Clint Eastwood then?
do you want to?
Yeah, do you want to do a quiz on Clint Eastwood?
That'll do. Yeah,
That'd be a
he's
good
85 this week. I like 86 this week.
Okay.
86. Yeah,
So
that'll
we'll
be
do
good.
Clint Eastwood, all right.
Yeah, okay, that'll
Cool.
be good. Yeah,
now
I like
listen.
that.
Because Steph Curry's got 8 points so far, 16-15
Who?
to Oklahoma City Thunder.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
I knew a Steph Curry.
No,
He
you
works for the
Steve
Daily
Curry.
Express.
Now,
Steve
why don't you
Curry.
give us a bit of your unique commentary. Go on.
Okay. Now who's playing who here?
The team in blue against the team in white.
Yeah, but who's the blue team?
The blue team is the Thunder, isn't it?
Thunder, and the white team
White
is...
team is the Golden State Warriors.
Right, okay. So the Thunder going forward have just netted a ball. They've scored. Now the team in white, who are they? Thunder?
No, the Golden State
Right,
Warriors.
the Golden State Warriors. Oh, blimey, you won't believe it. They nearly scored, but they hit the bar and it bounced out. Now the Thunder are going down the field, bouncing the ball, and about to take a hit on goal, a strike on goal. Yeah, the guy's running round. He's running round. He's bouncing the ball. He's running round around a bit more, bouncing the ball a bit more. He's gone up. Oh, he's tried to score, but guess what? He got a shoulder from the opposition, so he didn't score. Oh, my God, we've got exactly 60 seconds in this game now, and there has not been a score. So, change the rules quickly.
So there you go, you see. That was very good. But it's just proved my point. That it's not just about people running up at one end and scoring.
Of course it is.
And then somebody running back down the other end and scoring.
Of course it is.
It doesn't happen.
Of course it is. When you look at it, and I'll look at it again now. Oh, there's a man running up and down, bouncing the ball. Oh, he's lost it to a guy in blue. Oh, the man in blue's running up and down, bouncing the ball. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, the guy in white's got it. Oh, he's having a go at goal. Oh, he scored. Oh, it bounced off the rim of the net, or the, what's it called?
The hoop.
The hoop. It bounced off the rim of the hoop. And they're going down the other end now. Look at the score now. It's 117 to 114. Oh, he scored again. I mean, it's garbage, isn't it? The whole thing's garbage.
This is Game 7. It's a very exciting game. Anyway, we'll keep you updated with the score.
Load of trash.
Thank you very much indeed. How about this from Marty? He says, if Michael Van Gerwen were to miss his target and hit Porky, would he pop like a balloon?
What? That's a bit harsh. Now then, listen, I want to tell you, historically, I've been reading my journals, and I've got some amazing news for you about, at the moment, we're all celebrating the huge longevity of the Queen and her 90th birthday.
Indeed,
okay?
yeah. It's the whole sort of year's worth of celebration,
yes,
isn't it?
And she is, of course, Queen Elizabeth II, OK?
She is.
So I've been studying the life of Queen Elizabeth I.
Right. Why?
Right. Well,
it's not her anniversary.
No, I know, but I thought I would because I want to know more about it, right?
Well, maybe in a future time we can do a quiz on her. We haven't done one on her, Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, what I was going to say is, over the years we've seen all sorts of performances in films and plays and all that of Queen Elizabeth I by fantastic actresses like Helen Mirren and Glenda Jackson, I think, has played her.
Jackson, I think, has, yeah.
And the other lady who's been M in Judi Dench.
Judi Dench.
I think they've all played her, right?
She?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And they've all played her, and I'm talking serious. But you know what?
We've also had that Australian actress as well, haven't we?
Who?
Whose name is for the moment escaping.
Well, let me tell you, because you may be on the same track as me. After reading this latest journal about Queen Elizabeth I, it's a very good book, Elizabeth, The Forgotten Years, right? I've come to the conclusion that the best portrayal of Queen Elizabeth I was, in fact, in Blackadder, where Miranda Richardson played a woman who was highly strung, completely...
And kind of mad, yeah.
Mad,
she was very good. She was very good, but I think I'd have to say Kate Blanchett, who was the one that I was thinking of, yeah.
Went around threatening to cut other people's noses off if they were prettier than her and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But she was... She was
always threatening to have Blackadder executed,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
She was great. I mean, that was a great show.
Yeah, exactly. So it says here, Queen Elizabeth I was never the easiest of characters. Hanging was too good for some of her enemies. No sooner had the traitor Dr. William Parry dropped from the gallows...
The traitor what?
The traitor Dr. William Parry.
So he's one of your lot?
Well,
how surprising is that?
Well,
Dr. William Parry's a traitor.
Yeah.
Well, there we are.
But anyway, what happened was she didn't have him properly hanged, right? She had him dropped from the gallows. So this is...
What's the difference?
Well, this is being hung, drawn and quartered, you see.
Yeah, but you have to be hanged first, though.
Yeah, no, what happens is, mate, they don't drop you because that snaps your neck. What they do is they tie and they lift you up, right?
Right.
And then drop you back down onto the floor so that your legs break. You see what I mean?
So what? I don't understand. So what, they hang you, like, for a while?
Yes.
And then what, cut the rope?
Yes.
Oh, I see. So they don't drop you as such?
No, so that your neck doesn't snap at the end of a rope.
So you must be on a shorter rope, then? Because presumably they have to let the trapdoor down, do they?
There's no trapdoor. This is the whole point.
Well,
it's
so
on
how
the stage.
how does the hanging bit work, then?
Because they pull you up like that. They get men
to pull you up,
right?
Okay, all right.
And then you're like a fish. You're wriggling around. It's a pretty horrible thing. Well, like
a fish on a hook.
Yeah, like a fish out
of
water.
All this torture
no,
stuff,
I hate it.
You always get very enthused when you talk about torture.
And then they drop you back to break your legs, right? So here we go. No sooner had the traitor Dr. William Parry dropped back onto the stage than he found himself cut down.
The traitor William Parry. I like the sound of that.
Dr. William Parry.
Yeah.
Dr. William Parry, traitor. On the Queen's orders, his heart and bowels were then ripped from his body with a meat cleaver.
How much of his heart worked?
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
While he was still alive and kicking.
Oh.
As the blade plunged deep into his body, He gave...
Who's written this?
Well, this is an onlooker.
It's a bit over-dramatic.
It's an onlooker. As the blade plunged deep into his body, he gave what a stunned spectator described as a great groan.
Yeah, I imagine he did, yeah. He wasn't very happy.
He would give a great groan if your bowels and your heart had just been removed.
Right.
His severed head was later put on display on London Bridge.
They used to like to do that, didn't they?
Yeah, as a warning to other traitors, OK? Now, it says here, good Queen Bess she was not. In her famous speech to her troops at Tilbury, she spoke of her faithful and loving people. But having sent them off to battle, she then refused to pay the soldiers.
Right.
When a group of her bedraggled foot soldiers, half-starved, walked barefoot to London to demand payment, she ordered that they should all be hanged for insurrection.
Well, I mean, that was in the days of real proper sort of, what you call feudal life, wasn't it? Basically whatever the Queen wanted, she got.
Yeah. As one of them was having the rope put around his neck, he shouted, "The gallows are the pay they give us for going to wars!" And then he dropped down and he was done.
Yeah.
Very
brutal time.
Very, very brutal times. Anyway, it says that in the court herself, she was portrayed as a beautiful woman, beautiful hands, nimble on the dance floor, but she spent most of her time ranting and raving. She slapped her handmaids repeatedly around the face.
Right.
And her courtiers were told to put the foot out so she could stamp her feet on it with high heels until their feet were bleeding.
Blimey.
Seething with fury and sending her former favourites, if they upset her, to the Tower to be dealt with appropriately.
But, I mean, you can imagine it must have been difficult enough in this day and age to be the Queen, I'm sure, with certain cultural things. But, I mean, to be a woman in charge of all these men back in those days was quite remarkable.
It was quite remarkable. Now, you're right.
Is she the greatest ever English woman?
Well, we think so.
I mean, I'm asking you.
Well, I think Queen Elizabeth II probably has that title now.
Really?
Or Queen Victoria, maybe. She presided over the Empire.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, anyway, listen.
Surely Elizabeth I.
The actresses who came closest to the real Elizabeth, Glenda Jackson, Flora Robson and Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, I think, is the best one.
But Miranda Richardson, in my view, because she's not named here, but she played in Blackadder, sounds exactly like this person. Now, here we go. That's it. Thank you very much. Well done. Now then...
It's only taken 8 minutes.
Yeah. One of the women of the bedchamber, who was called Mary Shelton... Right?
Yeah.
...had married without the Queen's permission.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth exploded in a fury and physically attacked Shelton with a shoe. She broke all her fingers.
Right.
Don't know why she did that for. The source of the injury then had to be hushed up, and everyone was made to pretend that the fingers were broken by a falling candlestick. It's been a heavy candlestick.
Is there a lot more of this?
Eh?
Is there a lot more of this?
Well...
I want to hear more about the traitor... Dr. William Parry.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to know what relation you are to him. Because, I mean, you've got very sort of traitorish tendencies.
Well, not at all. I'll tell you just a couple of more things here, right? Yeah. She liked going around the country to see how her peasants were behaving, OK? Yeah. So what she did is she set off on tour of the country. No, this is no joke, where she would stay at people's country houses. Oh, right. There were people she'd given lands to and all this kind of stuff.
So she'd basically given them the country house.
But it was always open to the Queen.
Yeah.
She set off on the tour of country houses in 1591. She travelled with 300 carriages. They took her own bed from her own palace, which was Hampton Court, right? Which had been seized by her father, King Henry VIII, you know. 300 carts, bearing her own bed, tapestries, gold and silver plates and household goods, as well as a small army of staff. Basically, the house was moved by the carriages to wherever she wanted to go.
Wow. Imagine what size of a cavalcade that must have been.
300 carriages? Yeah. I mean, it would have gone on forever. Now, the present-day Queen, Elizabeth II, might expect a modest lunch party in her honour, followed by a brisk walk with the dogs. Yeah. By contrast, Elizabeth I would demand gifts galore from the occupants of the country houses and lavish entertainment to the tune of £1,000 a week, which in today's money comes to roughly £1 million a week.
Blimey.
And while Elizabeth II might just manage a little piece of fish, Elizabeth I would stuff her face till kingdom come. For one breakfast alone, she and her entourage managed to eat their way through 3 oxen and 140 deer.
Dear me.
I mean, blimey, eh?
That is amazing.
Yeah. What a woman. What a woman.
Indeed. You may say that. I couldn't possibly comment. Now, we've got lots more coming up, including some talk about a robot that you can install in your house to do all the menial tasks.
Good.
It might be bad news for Mrs. Mop, of course. This is Talk Sport.
You're not. You're vulnerable. You're vulnerable. You are not a robot.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Tue Mikes. Of course, there will be a podcast coming out in a little a while. It's been a very, very interesting year so far for technology. Porky's just had his Casio watch fixed by one of our very talented guys behind the screen.
Exactly.
Executive producer Dave managed to do it for you.
Exactly.
So now you've got the right time.
Yep.
Although somebody did say, why did anybody tell Porky the right time? We could have got rid of the plank an hour early if we hadn't realised his cheap, crappy Casio watch was running fast.
Oh, that's nice.
That's from
isn't it?
Sandra.
Thank you. Oh, really, Sandra?
Yeah.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. What a delightful lady you are.
Yes, indeed. Now, try not to give her a hard time. Now, let's talk to Nick Healy, senior editor of CNET, because...
Nick Healy?
Nick Healy, yes, because there's a story knocking around about this new robot, which is called Zenbo,
yes.
which has been manufactured by hardware manufacturer Asus. And it basically looks like one of those Star Wars characters, right?
Sure.
And what it will do is roll around on its own. It will understand spoken commands, and you can buy one for about 410 quid.
No.
So let's find out from Nick whether it's worth doing it.
Okay.
Nick, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, g'day from Taipei, gentlemen.
Thank you very
thank
much.
you
G'day
very
from
much.
Taipei. Has a very nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It does.
Now, is this thing worth buying at this point, or is it not actually quite yet as good as it's going to be, if you know what I mean?
It's so hard to tell because all they did was roll it out on stage and have a quick chat to it. Now, look, it blew everyone's minds. There's no denying that because when they started talking about it, everyone thought, oh, it's a silly idea or it's just down the track or they've just got a few sketches. And then it actually rolled out on the stage and, you know, dimmed the lights, played a song, took a photo. It's hard to tell right now, but I have to say I'm pretty impressed and no one saw this coming.
It looks great. What I'm very suspicious about, Nick, is how cheap it is. It's $599. I mean, blimey almighty, you can...
It's less than an iPhone.
It's less than a laptop, that's what I'm saying. And yet you've got a human-looking robot here that does things like remind you that you've got a doctor's appointment, tells you that, you know, the shopping needs doing because the fridge is getting empty. I mean, this is amazing.
It is absolutely amazing, and the price is just mind-blowing. I mean, $599, you can buy a universal remote for about $400 US, and this works like a universal remote as far as we can tell, and will take phone calls for you, and read the kids a story, and connects to the internet, and can tell you how to cook a paella. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Okay, now, a guy like me, Nick, my broadcasting partner here, also called Mike, calls me a saddo, says I have a sad life because I live alone, you know, I'm single and all that, and he says that, you know, I'm a bit of a hermit and all that.
Well, I think this thing could keep you company.
Well, no, I was just about to say that because according to the information I've got here, the robot can sing songs, it can dance to music, it can tell stories, it can even give you lessons in subjects you want to know about. So if I get on the grog one night, Nick, and decide, you know, I think I'll have a laugh and a shout, can I program the robot to sing along with me, you know, hey Jude, don't make me sad, get it to dance at the same time, you know, kicking legs up and all that kind of stuff, and then tell me a few funny stories to keep me happy.
Yes, you can.
Well,
and
do
if
all
this
of that?
thing does not ship, if this thing does not ship with a karaoke mode, I will eat my hat.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's a part-time karaoke machine as well, this is sounding like, to me, like a must-have device in my house.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that people are going to just go mad for, and just, you know, the Christmas shopping lists are going to be full of it. But I mean, has it got a finite amount of? I mean, it's not what you would call artificial intelligence, is it? It's got a finite amount of knowledge, presumably, or can you program it with more and more stuff?
Well, look, my best guess is that it's connected directly to the internet. Because if you say, you know, and you start it by saying, hey, Zenbo, as far as I can tell. So it's a little bit like Siri in that respect. You know, your Apple iPhone.
You don't know what that is, do you?
Hey, Zenbo.
You don't know what Siri is, do you?
Siri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like a sort of airborne sort of internet, isn't it? Huh?
You see what I mean?
Cosmic.
It's cosmic. To struggle with this guy, Nick.
Yeah, it's cosmic.
No, it's you talk. It's the thing that talks back to you.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I knew that. It's cosmic, yeah.
All right, Nick,
all right.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, well, I think Zenbo's a bit like Siri in that case, except it's less of an airborne internet and more of a rolling robot internet. So the limits should only be about what it can connect to and what it can understand you saying. So, I mean, they did demonstrate, and again, these demonstrations on stage, always hard to tell how much of it has been pre-organised and how much is off the cuff. It did look like it could understand a lot of simple commands.
And certainly, I mean, well, the reviews that I've read about it say that, you know, with all due respect to Mr. Parry here, it could be very useful for older people who live alone and who actually, you know, need to be reminded of stuff and need almost somebody to kind of watch over them, if you like.
It was one of the big pictures they gave, was it as senior companion was the phrase they used.
Yeah.
Someone to keep an eye on you, someone to connect you to family. Even in their promo video, they showed the granddad of the family taking a fall and Zenbo putting an emergency call through to the family to let them know that granddad had taken a tumble.
So that'd be good for you when you get home and you have too much of the old Pinot Grigio.
Well, that's right, and it seems it can check the locks on the doors to make sure they're closed and all that. Now, the only thing that making me worry a little bit here, Nick, is that this is produced by a hardware manufacturer called Azuz, A-Z-U-Z. Surely, if there's a worldwide market for this, and if they only cost $599 and they were available in this country, I'd buy one tomorrow. But surely, if that's the case and they're going to be mass selling, why aren't people like Apple and Windows and Bill Gates and people like that getting in on the act?
Well, I'll tell you this, it's Asus, A-S-U-S, and they are huge. They are one of the biggest hardware manufacturers in the world.
Right. Where are they based?
So they're based out of Taiwan, which is why they do this here.
I see. Right, okay. But can they rival a worldwide reach that Apple have and that Google have and people like that?
Look, Apple, what you're rivaling with Apple is not so much the reach as the marketing budget, and that's a hard one to go up against.
Right.
Google's another difficult one, but they're not likely to be building anything like this at the moment. I'd say this, like any first bit of tech, it's buyer beware when it's the first one ever. Maybe Zenbo 2.0 will be a little more polished and just more like what people want. I have to say I'm fascinated by this, but I still think it's a bit of a novelty more than an absolute must-have just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, Asus are bigger than you think and do a lot of great hardware.
And presumably there'll be other sort of copycat-type robots coming out if one does come out and sells well, so there'll be loads of them all over the place. I mean, what does it what does it run on? Has it got like a charger that you stand it in or something when it's not rolling around?
Some of the stuff we don't know yet, so hopefully going to get a look at it on the show floor today and get an idea of that. I would say it might be a little bit like your robot vacuum cleaners, like your Roombas, where they dock themselves when they're getting low charge, and you don't even need to plug it in. It'll go and do that by itself.
Yeah, and does it, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it at the very start, does it physically look like a human being? Has it got arms and legs?
You know, it looks like, did you watch the new Star Wars, gentlemen?
I did, yeah.
I haven't
yet. He didn't. He hasn't seen the first one.
Yeah, go on.
It looks a little like BB-8 from the new Star Wars, but with a head on top of that.
Right, what does that look like then?
So he's a little cylindrical body and then a little Wall-E-style head on top.
I see, okay. So it is like a sort of...
It's a bit like Henry, you know the Henry Hoovers?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, yeah, one of those Henry Hoover type things. I see, yeah, okay, well, that's very interesting. I think this would be an absolute God save to old people who live on their own and that sort of thing, companionship, instruction, reminding them to do things. It could revolutionise a lot of people's lives, in my view.
Look, I think this idea of a companion is something we've been working towards for a long time.
Indeed.
I'm pretty excited to see it. I didn't even know if I was going to see it in my lifetime, to be perfectly honest. What it's going to come down to is how natural is the language. You know, can you just say, oh, hey, Zenbo, I need to look up blah, or is it going to have to be very precise? Because as anyone who uses Siri knows, it trains you to talk differently rather than it understanding you speaking naturally.
Right.
Okay, Nick, can I put this to you? I've got a great thought here. I'm just thinking on the hoof now, right? If you are an elderly couple and, say, for instance, your partner, you know, suddenly is diagnosed as being ill and you think, wow, it's probably only got about 6 months, 12 months to go, perhaps that dying partner could then spend an hour a day talking into this machine and the machine records it all. Do you see what I mean?
An old romantic you are.
Yeah, records it all, takes in all the dialogue and all that, so that when partner dies, the machine might have, say, 15,000 words of dialogue from the now dead partner, and late at night, the old lady who's lost her husband and all that can sit there and actually chat to her husband's voice.
Look, that's possible. I think that sounds a little bit like a Charlie Brooker-esque nightmare to me. That's like something out of Black Mirror. But, you know, I'm pretty sure it could be done.
Oh, people would love that. People would you know, oh, I feel so... Oh.
I know where he's going with this, actually, Nick. He's not thinking at all about the happily married couple who've been together for 50 years. What he's thinking here, because I can hear his little commercial brain working, he's thinking he could insert his voice into one of these things and sell them as, the Mike Parry robot. Yes, you do. That's what you think.
Don't be ridiculous. What I'm thinking is, if you were sitting there having a cup of cocoa at night, you could have a conversation with your now dead partner. How's your cocoa, darling? It's very good,
Yeah,
thank you.
there's nothing weird about that.
And should we watch the Late Late Show? No, I think I'd rather go to bed.
And then the robot will say, the cops are at the door, they're going to take you away.
Yeah, what book are you reading at the moment, darling? Well, I'm just reading,
Why does it sound like
Kingsley.
Graham Kelly?
Well, I don't know, but people do. But I can see this developing in a big way into, total companionship. And soon, of course, very soon, of course, Nick, we know robots are currently being developed that can think for themselves anyway.
Well, look, artificial intelligence is still one of those tricky things. We've never quite made it work. Some things robots do unbelievably quickly, and then there's some simple human things that they just cannot get a handle on.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, it's gonna be
Basically,
great
you
stuff.
guys aren't going to lose your jobs anytime soon. There's going to be no robot DJs.
Well, I know I won't. I don't know about him.
So how soon are these things going to be on sale, do you think, Nick?
Not sure, but if they've already put a price on it, it can't be too far away.
Well,
I'd expect this later this year.
All right, great. Fantastic stuff. Well, thanks for joining us from Taipei. Have a good day. This is Talk
Absolute
Sport.
pleasure.
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said no, no, no. Yes, I've been black, but when I come back, no, no, no. I ain't got the time, and if my daddy thinks I'm fine, they try to make me go to rehab. I won't go.
I think one of those robots would be great for you.
Yeah, I do.
But I think that's a very odd thing to come up with, to have the voice of a dead, loved one.
No, that's for older people. That's not for me. I mean, who would I want?
For anyone.
Why would I want a dead person talking to me? The only dead person I'd want talking to me is John Lennon.
Well, it's better than having nobody talk to you, isn't it?
Well, I mean, look, I don't have situations in which I need people talking to me. Most of the time, either watching
Well, no, because you never listen anyway.
Or I'm.
What you should probably do is
working on my computer, or I'm reading my journals, or I'm, on the phone talking to people and getting things sorted and done. You know what I mean?
And all that paperwork you do as well.
And the paperwork, I've been doing a mountain of paperwork today.
Paperwork.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, it's not easy.
But I mean, the point is,
it's not easy to keep our affairs in shape.
I know.
There's so much going on at the moment.
I know, it's shocking. Very busy we are. Very busy indeed.
Exactly,
Going to the Edinburgh Festival, of course, as well.
Edinburgh Festival.
Which we have to talk about soon.
Yeah, we've got somewhere decent to stay, by the way.
Well, I don't know where we've got to stay at the moment.
Problem with the Edinburgh Festival is so many people go there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to settle for some doss house, down the Leith Docks or something like that.
We may end up.
Is the Leith Docks in Edinburgh?
The Leith Docks is indeed,
right,
but there's nothing wrong. The Leith Docks now, I'll have you know, is a very ritzy part of town.
Okay,
I'll
have an apartment there then.
Yes, it's a bit like Docklands here. I mean, yes, there are some rundown properties, but funnily enough, I almost bought an apartment there, overlooking where the HMS Britannia sits.
Yes, I know. I've been there.
You've been down there?
I've been down there.
So that part, and there's the Ocean Terminal, which is a big shopping centre and swimming pool.
Well, you know why it's called the Ocean Terminal?
Well, because boats used to come in there.
No, the Ocean Boats moors there. You know what the ocean is?
I know what the ocean is. Yeah, it's out there, a big wide world.
Past
the English Channel.
It's a boat full of £1 million apartments that just goes round the earth, but it docks at Leith Dock. Right?
Well, that's not why it's called the Ocean Terminal. It's called the Ocean Terminal because it used to be a massive terminal for cruise ships and other ships that come in and out.
I know, and the ship...
It's not named after one ship.
Well, it is now because there is a ship called the Ocean. There is.
Well, there might well be a ship called the Ocean.
Mr. Brazil and I
there's also an ocean called the Ocean. There's the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
There's the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. Mr. Brazil and I went
Pacific
on it.
Ocean.
And it famously, and we told this tale of quite a few times, it was when we were sitting in what I thought was the cocktail bar and was given a menu of drinks.
Yeah.
And I ordered one, but I was bladderated.
Right,
and,
what did you order?
I ordered a Monte Cristo cigar.
Oh.
Because we were sitting in the smoking room.
You thought you were ordering a drink?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
God, you must have been off your face.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I thought Monte Cristo sounded like some sort of exotic cocktail,
You didn't know that was a cigar?
Well, I didn't at the time. I realised when he brought it in a silver salver, it was a cigar, and I thought, I wonder why he's brought me that.
Did he bring you in a humidor?
He brought me everything, ashtray and a lighter and something to cut the cigar with and all that.
Days, eh?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I kept asking him where my drink was, and he kept looking at me funny.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I put the cigar in my pocket. And I didn't light it or anything.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of cigars.
Wondered why he brought me one.
Now, listen to this from Keith. It says, Dr. William Parry was from Flintshire, only a stone's throw from Chester.
Oh, really?
The plot thickens. He says. He also says William Parry also went to a grammar school in Chester and later married a widow. I think it might be Porky reincarnated.
Good God, that's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Is this the same Dr. William Parry who was hanged as a traitor?
The traitor, yes.
God, that is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that bad news?
Absolutely. What about that gorilla that got shot, by the way, in
What a
Cincinnati?
terrible story.
Shocking
But I mean, I have to
story.
say, and a lot of people have already said this, but the idea that the parents somehow allowed that to happen.
Unbelievable.
And many people, I mean, you know what the internet's like. I mean, I've had a few interesting encounters on the internet over the last couple of days.
Yes.
One way and another, I've been fighting with people, trolls, slaying trolls, as they say. Got into, a couple of conversations because I put out a tweet about that guy who wore the Hillsborough T-shirt yesterday, and people thought that I was in some way condoning what he did, which of course I wasn't.
Of course
ridiculous. No. But people have been calling for the parents to be shot.
Yes.
The people have been calling for the parents to be prosecuted.
Yes.
And I mean, I've looked at the video, and I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at the video of what happened.
Yeah.
But the gorilla does look as if it's not trying to harm the child.
Well, it looks like it's holding his hand at one point.
But it's tough. I mean, I guess the trouble is that you don't know when you're dealing with these size of animals and how big they are and how unpredictable they are. You don't know when they might suddenly do something.
Supposing, I mean, I understand, because supposing, even in those few minutes that the gorilla was with the child in the moat, the gorilla had bonded with the child. What would have happened if they tried to take the child away then?
Well, exactly.
And then could it have been
And
trouble?
they say that they couldn't use a tranquilizer gun
It wouldn't have acted quickly enough.
Didn't act quickly enough.
Well,
but but surely they must have the ability to come up with a tranquilizer which would have an immediate effect.
Yeah, but the problem is, Mike, what they said is, because they can't get close enough to the gorilla to administer the tranquilizer, it has to be through a dart.
Yeah.
And an animal like that, when a dart suddenly hits it, might have panicked and struck out at the child or something like that,
I mean,
they had to kill it stone dead with the first shot.
But again, you have to go back to the beginning of the story and say, well, how on earth did the kid get in there in the first place? What were the parents doing?
Yeah, well, that's another story, isn't it? But, it's sad because it comes so quickly.
It is sad.
On the back of having to shoot those two lions in a lion enclosure when some nutter crawled in trying to commit suicide.
See, for me, that was a different case because there's a guy that was clearly, deranged.
Yeah.
And I know you can't go around shooting people, but I mean, the police in America do it. It's not as if they don't.
They do.
And they could have shot the guy and left the lions alone.
They could have done,
But I guess there would have been all sorts of hell to pay. But he was naked. I mean, this was clearly not a man who was thinking
of rational thought. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. But it's sad, isn't it? Because, and I tell you what was more sad, really, was that the gorilla was born and brought up in that zoo in Cincinnati. It's never seen freedom. So I wonder whether its instincts are completely gorilla-like anyway, if you see what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
It's never had to sort of, fight for its life in a jungle, law of the jungle and all that.
No, horrible story, though.
Yeah,
absolutely horrible. It's still on the front pages this morning because there's all sorts of, petitions being signed and the argument is now, was he not trying to protect the boy and all of that.
Did you see the new Top Gear?
I didn't, but I want to talk to you about that because we got to do some listography. We've got to pick some listography, which is our homage to the new day. It's all coming up on Talk Sport. Coming up in this hour, we will be doing listography, which is, of course, our homage to the new day. We're going to be doing it on the three favourite Indian and... Do we do 3 Indian and 3 Chinese, then?
Shall we?
I suppose we should, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should,
We'll do that in a little while.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, which is helpful, because I had some Chinese food tonight on the way up.
Oh, is that right?
I drove up, I was driving up back from Sussex, and there was a fantastic Chinese place in Greenwich, right?
Oh, Greenwich.
Which is one of those kind of just Formica table type places.
Yes.
And I said to them, do you fancy some Chinese food? As we were driving into London.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they did. So we went and had some, and it was great.
Is that like in a noodles bar?
It's a sort of noodle bar, but it's not just noodles. So you can get all sorts of stuff in there.
Okay.
They do fantastic shrimp toast, actually.
Shrimp toast?
Yeah. Very, very good indeed.
Sure I've ever had that.
So we did a bit of that. But of course, the funny thing about Chinese food is it's quite... the weird thing for me...
Yes.
Well, partly one, because I was driving, two, because I was coming in here.
Yes.
I just had water with it.
Just water.
And I usually have beer with it. It's one of those things I don't normally... If I'm in a curry house, I don't normally have anything other than beer.
Oh, yeah, okay. A lager.
Because it goes with it. A bottle of, one of those Indian beers like... what would you have? Kingfisher or one of those,
I understand what you say.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Why are you talking to me like that?
No, I'm just I'm digesting information, that's right.
Is that what you're doing?
Now, listen, I want to tell you about something, unless you want to tell me about something.
No, go ahead. I was going to read a couple of tweets out, but go ahead.
No, please, go on, read them out.
I will say, from Darren, he says this, I will do Porky's review on Top Gear. Evans and the show is rubbish. And Phil says, Porky, you're normally mean about everyone. Tell people how poor Top Gear was. Some kind of secret agenda going on here.
Well, no, not really. I mean...
Steve says he won't criticise one of his own. It's the Planks Union.
No, it's not the Planks Union. I mean, look...
An Irish one says, Porky won't slag off any other fellow journalist, but what has he been doing with you for the last number of years?
Well,
That's a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point, yeah. Now, look, I mean, the point is, I wasn't a huge fan of the last Top Gear, right? I thought it was okay, but
You didn't like it?
Well, it wasn't. I didn't like it. I think that a show about cars becomes repetitive very quickly because it's about driving cars in different forms.
But the thing about Clarkson's show,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big fan of his, was that it wasn't just about cars. It was a much better kind of entertainment than that.
Can I tell you, I thought the way Clarkson's attitude to life is brilliant, and I think most people realise that. You know, he's a middle-aged man, doesn't care about his belly expanding, you know, smokes fags, has a laugh and a shout with his fellow presenters, likes a drink, all that kind of stuff. Came out very, very, you know, well in his attitude with his others and his laid-back attitude to life. And that was, to me, part of the show.
He doesn't suffer fools gladly.
No, he doesn't suffer fools gladly, and that was part of the show, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So I was a bit surprised when Top Gear started, it was 8 o'clock, wasn't it, on BBC Two on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And the first thing was this thing with fighter aircraft.
Yeah.
I thought, hang on, I saw this in the last series, didn't
Yeah.
I? And then the second thing is driving around in
Well, there's nothing
three-wheeler
there's
cars.
nothing new under the sun, I suppose, as they say.
Well, yeah, except that what Chris Evans did say when you know people were asking him about what's it all going to be, he said there's going to be some amazing new stunts, some fantastic new ideas, and there aren't any yet. I mean, maybe they've got some. I don't know.
Well, what a lot of people said on Twitter was that Chris Evans seemed to do an awful lot of shouting. In fact, they were comparing him to you. They said a bit like Porky.
No.
Shouts his way through the show.
I think, in fairness, he was trying to, you know, generate energy. And obviously, the crowd in the aircraft hangar or whatever they do it in, right, is obviously shipped in, and you know, nobody's there is going to boo him. They're all, hey, you know, because that's the whole plan. But I think he was just trying to make his presence felt and all that. But I don't know.
Well, be careful. You might have to give an opinion if you carry like that.
All I'm saying is, unless there's something sort of fairly new and novel in the next show, I'm not sure how many people will say, well, haven't I seen all this before? That's all.
All right. Did you watch Britain's Got Talent, by the way?
No.
Because they had the final of that, didn't they?
No, but I tell you what I did notice.
Yeah.
I noticed that when the judges went to the rap party, because it was the last one afterwards, Alicia Dixon, a very attractive young lady.
Indeed.
And Amanda Holden, an equally attractive young lady.
Big Everton fan.
Big Everton fan.
She's quite a friend of yours, isn't she?
Yes, I've seen her dressed in an Everton shirt with a black belt and nothing else. Look, you know, wore as a mini dress. Looked very nice. And
the naked picture was before the weekend as well, wasn't it?
Well, what I was going to say is the two of them left the set of BGT in identical, what they call little black dresses.
Really?
On their way to the rap party.
Okay.
And, of course, that's something which normally women find horribly embarrassing, but they, to give them their due, thought it was quite friendly and a bit of a laugh.
What are you talking about? What do you mean they find it embarrassing?
Well, if women turn up at the same do with the same dress on...
Well, if it's a little black dress, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, but it was off the shoulder. They were both off-the-shoulder dresses.
Well, maybe they did that deliberately.
I noticed these things,
I mean, most of the stuff that is done PR-wise around Britain's Got Talent and the X Factor is all very carefully choreographed.
Well, you say that,
of course it is.
But how do you know?
Because I'm not gullible like you. How about this from somebody who doesn't give a name?
Right.
He says, Porky, Matt LeBlanc's surname is pronounced to rhyme with Blanc, not with plank. You plank.
Yeah, I said that.
You said Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc.
And the huge ship with the expensive apartments Porky referred to is not called the Ocean, it's called the World.
The World, that's right.
Yeah, another blunder by the mostly confused Mr. Parry.
No.
So it's not called the Ocean Terminal because of the apartment building.
No, it's the World in the Ocean Terminal. That was what it was. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Now then, I want to tell you about something here.
Yeah, go on.
What this is about is, it's quite interesting, really. It is about a teacher who has banned her pupils from turning up in red clothes.
Red clothes?
Yeah.
Well, do they have a uniform?
No. Well, it's a bit loose. Here we go. Fizzy drinks, sweets and enum has all been blamed for making school children excitable, but now teachers add another thing to the list, the colour red. Eastern Primary School in Dundee.
Dundee, yes.
You know where Dundee is?
I do indeed. The Duke, home of the Duke millionaires.
Home of the Duke millionaires, that's right, yeah.
And Jam.
I met a bloke who was a Duke millionaire once.
Yeah, I used to play golf with one, actually.
Really? Yeah, that's
His name was Mr. Modi.
Oh, no, this guy lived in Eastern Surrey. He'd made his millions in jute, and his father had given it to him, and he was just a wastrel.
Was he Scottish?
No, he was kind of refined Scottish, you see what I mean? Scottish.
What do you mean? Well, he was Scottish then.
Yeah, he was Scottish.
What do you mean refined Scottish?
Scottish landed gentry, so he spoke like an Englishman. But he lived in a house in Esher, and all he ever used to do was take everybody home from the pub at 11 o'clock at night and throw a party every Saturday night.
Did you used to go along?
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, he used to drink all his free booze.
That's a shocking thing to admit.
No, it's not. No, and he made his
How long
fortune.
ago was this?
The family. About 10 years ago.
Really?
And the family.
So he used to go to a pub.
Yeah.
And just hang around with a load of people he didn't know, and then all back to some guy's place because he was wealthy. That's a shocking thing to admit.
The pub was in Esher, right?
Yeah.
And
what were you doing in Esher anyway?
Well, my mate lived there, so.
Which mate?
John Jinks, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, the former News Editor Express.
Yeah.
So
he's now currently languishing in a home for, shall we say, distressed journalists.
I would say knackered old
Why
journalists.
don't you help him out?
Well, he's beyond help, to be honest.
Oh, that's nice.
To be honest,
Very nice.
Yeah, I've tried to help him in the past. He's beyond help. But anyway, we used to go to this...
Half time at the basketball, by the way.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. So we used to go to this pub, right? Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. I don't know, it's just been refurbished, though.
Oh.
It was a pub we used, 5 times a week, you know what I mean? That sort of pub.
Yeah.
And it was in Claygate, actually. It wasn't in Esher.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Claygate is a village near Esher, yeah. In fact, I'll tell you who lives there.
Isn't that where one of our former friends had a pub as well?
What?
The former sports editor of the Express. Did he not have...
Yes, David Emery.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, no, Dave was there as well.
Oh, he was
Dave
there as well.
part of the crowd. He was part of the crowd. So what happened is we go to this pub. I wish I could remember the name of it, because it was the pub where Frank Bruno had his first fight in the hall attached to the pub. But anyway, so we get in there and you get absolutely lashed up on booze. And it's a good pub. You play darts on the other side, in the peasant side of the pub. You know what I mean?
Public bar.
Public bar. You used to play darts there.
What does it do with the peasants?
And then drinking the so on. And then about 10 past 11 or quarter past 11, the pubs used to close in those days, right? This guy, whose name I can't even remember, but he was a real roly-poly type character.
Oh, yeah.
A bit like that fat
sort of
guy.
Colonel Blimp character.
Well, more like that sort of fat guy who's Winston Churchill's grandson.
Fatty Soames.
Fatty Soames. A bit like him, spoke very well.
Nicholas
and all
Soames.
this. Nicholas Soames, And it's, come on, everyone, back to my place. And it was within walking distance. I mean, a 10-minute walk, Or there were a couple...
So how many people would go then?
Maybe 20 or 25.
Really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
So they turn up at this palatial place, the big drive, and it had a terrace which overlooked the gardens and all that kind of stuff.
So where did you live at this point?
I lived in, more or less in Epsom, where I live now. But
so
a
what was that,
place.
Taxi ride home then?
Yeah, taxi ride home, yeah.
Okay.
It's only 10 minutes.
So was it all blokes from the pub then? Or was it women?
No. A lot of women came along.
Really?
Oh, a lot of very tasty young
there must have been some
women.
horrendous scenes back there then.
Well, not really.
People like repairing off to one of the rooms or something.
Oh, all that happened. That definitely happened. A lot of it happened in the garden.
Rogerising?
Oh, yes, I'm afraid
in the garden?
so. Yes, in the garden, in the garden, And,
that was a terrible scene.
Yeah. And what happened was, by the way, I saw an old programme today with a lot of Rogerising in it, but I won't go into that. No, so what happened is, after the pub closed, it just go on till the last person fell over or left at 3:30 in the morning. It's brilliant. And
how bizarre.
Yeah, well, he was divorced.
Right.
He'd moved down from wherever, and he bought this place. He had, he was literally a man of leisure.
Yeah.
And he liked having people around.
Right.
And there was never a situation in which, like bedrooms got wrecked or anything like that. It was all very, very civilised.
All very civilised.
But he just liked doing it, But anyway...
you said the time, by the way.
I was supposed to tell you about why red is no longer welcome at a school in Dundee.
Okay, well, we'll get to that.
Okay, great.
I can go first with my Chinese.
Yes, go on,
because I can tell you what I had tonight.
Right.
I'm going to go with one starter and two main courses.
Okay.
Right? I always like to have as a starter as many, whatever the dumplings are.
Yes. Yes.
They have those kind of, now whether I have wonton soup or...
Well, aren't they grilled pork dumplings?
They're sort of grilled pork dumplings, which I love.
Yeah, great.
And I usually ask for a little bit of chili oil on the side.
Yeah, right.
Because, the juice that they come with is not always... It's quite nice, but I quite like to have the hot...
No, I love whatever that little thing they give you in the white container to go with the dumplings. I love whatever that is called.
The white, I'm not talking about just takeaway. It could be in the restaurant as well.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
give you a white container in a restaurant.
Well, they'll give you a little white dish.
A dish, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, it's quite sort of tart. Isn't
it? Okay, I'm quite with that.
All right, now my generally my favourite, I would say, dish is probably barbecued pork.
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of,
It's not one of my favourites, that.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like pork in Chinese restaurants, no.
Well, you just said you like the dumplings.
Yeah, but dumplings is like grilled.
No, but they're made of pork.
Yeah, but it's like sausage meat inside. It's not like pork. Anyway, go on,
what do you think sausage meat is?
Yeah, well, it's a different form of it, isn't it? Yeah.
And then I'm going to say, I really do like those, the crispy duck and pancakes as well.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I always like that.
Okay.
But those would probably be my three. Obviously there'd be fried rice.
Okay, I'll go with that.
So I want to see your three then.
I'll go with two of those. Now, I won't choose the same ones, even though I'm very fond of the old crispy duck pancakes.
Yes.
With the dark
Hoi
sauce.
sun sauce, yeah.
And what's the green stuff you put in them?
Well, that's usually kind of like
cucumber.
onions, isn't it? Well, there's cucumber sometimes, and a bit of onion maybe.
No, I don't like onion. No, cucumber's great.
Okay.
Right, now, my 3 would be, I love the old chicken and sweet corn soup.
Do you?
Chicken and sweet corn soup to start, and I usually have a double portion.
Do you?
A big bowl. You have to get me a big bowl.
Big bowl of soup.
Yeah, I love big bowl.
Do you
of
like
soup.
it when, because this place we went to, they do an awful lot of stuff like in soup.
Right.
So you can get like almost any kind of noodle dish, but it's in soup.
No.
It's massive.
No, I just want the soup.
Yeah.
I just want the soup,
Okay.
and
All right.
thick soup. It's lovely,
Yeah.
right? Then my next one, apart from the ones that you've mentioned, which I do like, would be...
Are you fried rice or noodle man then?
Me, I'm a plain boiled rice, actually.
Oh, you don't like fried rice?
No, I don't like fried rice. I don't like eggs, you see. So,
yeah.
So boiled rice. So my second one will be... hang on, are we Chinese or...
Chinese.
Oh, Chinese, right, okay, yeah. So my second Chinese would be...
It'd be great to be out at a Chinese restaurant when you start ordering some Indian food. You know.
I know, you're right, yeah.
Garçon.
Yeah. Would be lemon chicken.
Lemon chicken?
Lemon chicken. I love lemon chicken. I love the chicken all doused in that lemon stuff. Lemon curd, isn't it? Like type stuff, you know?
Nah, it's all a bit artificial.
No, I love it. I love it. That would be my...
That's your first main course, so you need another one.
Okay.
Because you've had soup, chicken and sweet corn soup, lemon chicken, you can have one more.
The other one that I really love is... hang on a second, I'm thinking aloud.
It's not a quiz, this, you know. You should be able to mention what Chinese food you like.
Yeah, hang on, I'm just trying to think. I know. I would have...
I'll have to hurry you.
Beef in oyster sauce.
Incorrect.
No, I love that. I love beef in oyster sauce.
Yeah, beef in oyster sauce is good.
Yeah.
Don't mind a bit of that.
So there you go.
Well, I mean, there's many other options you can choose from. Now you're going to do your three favourite Indian ones. I'm going to go with lamb samosas to start with.
Well, I should go first on the Indians.
All right, you go first. Okay, go on then.
Is that right? Yeah.
Have you thought of 3?
Yes, I have. Yes, I've got three. Right. First of all, if it was a real main dish.
Yeah. What do you mean? Is it a false main dish?
No. A complete meal. Chicken biryani.
Chicken biryani?
Yeah, I love it.
Why do you have to say it like that?
Well, because, that's what it sounds
Do you prefer the chicken tikka biryani version?
No, I like biryani. I love the chicken biryani.
No, but chicken tikka biryani has got the chicken tikka in it as opposed to just the chicken.
No, I don't know what tikka is. I like chicken biryani.
Well, chicken tikka tends to be the chicken that they do in the tandoori oven. So
no, forget that.
Chicken
Biryani's good for me.
Right.
And I tell you what, I used to go to a place where they used to serve bits of silver rings on top.
What?
The edible silver.
What?
Have you ever had this?
No.
It's edible silver.
I've had a biryani with a sort of covering, funnily, over it. Like it looks a bit like a pie.
Yeah.
There's a place down in Hastings that does it
Silver?
like this. No, it's not silver. It's like a naan over the top of it.
Well, funny enough, my second choice was going to be naan bread.
Okay.
Freshly cooked naan bread, which is beautiful.
Like plain naan?
Plain naan.
You don't have garlic naan?
No.
You don't have a stuffed naan?
No, I don't eat garlic. No, I don't eat garlic.
Of course you do. You go to an Indian restaurant.
Well,
What do you think they put in the biryani?
I tried to minimise it, to be honest. So chicken biryani, naan bread I love.
Okay.
And
what about a starter?
A starter?
Do you never have a starter in an Indian restaurant?
I like tomato soup. What's your problem?
Oh, you have tomato soup?
I do.
In an Indian restaurant?
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you just have egg and chips then?
No, don't be silly. I love a bit of tomato soup.
What about mulligatawny?
No, it's too hot and spicy.
Is it?
My third Indian one would be...
Do you like an egg, by the way, with the biryani? Of course, you don't eat eggs, do you?
No, I don't eat eggs. Never eat eggs.
I don't know why I keep asking you about eggs.
I know.
I keep forgetting that you don't eat them.
My third one would be... I can tell you what it would be. A cauliflower bhaji.
Okay, cauliflower bhaji is nice.
Bhaji.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all good. Well,
or a mushroom bhaji.
No, see, I'm not keen on mushrooms in Indian food.
Okay.
I would go for meat samosa to start with.
Right.
Which
What's that?
I'm very keen. You know what samosa is?
No.
It's like a triangular sort of pastry package.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you can get vegetable ones, which I quite like.
Right.
But they're normally lamb is the meat ones, and they sometimes have a little bit of what they call it keema.
Okay.
A little bit of pea in there as well.
Okay.
Lamb madras, I would say.
Right.
Probably.
Lamb madras.
If I'm cooking a curry, I quite like a fish curry, but I don't normally order a fish curry in a restaurant.
I'd never eat a fish curry.
No, I make a great fish curry. One of these days I'll make it for you.
Okay.
With sea bass.
Oh, I won't eat it.
And then my preferred side vegetable dish usually is chana masala.
What?
Chana masala.
What's chana masala?
Chickpeas.
Oh, no, I hate it.
You don't like chickpeas?
Oh, I hate chickpea. I was ill once on a flight to Israel when they gave me some... what else is it called?
Well, it's
chickpea is called something else. It's like paste, when it's a paste.
Oh, you mean when it's actually made into... No, it's made into hummus.
Hummus, that's right, hummus. Can't stand it. Oh,
what, you got sick eating hummus?
Yeah, I did, yeah, vomit.
Don't be so disgusting.
Sorry, it was just awful.
Why did you get sick eating hummus? It's vegetarian.
No, it doesn't taste of anything.
That's the taste of chickpeas.
It doesn't. It tastes of nothing.
It's got lemon juice, garlic. You can make it, actually. Very healthy.
I honestly felt like I was eating polyfiller.
Really?
Oh, it was awful.
Dear God.
Awful. Can't eat it.
All right.
Can't eat it.
Well, I mean, I think those are quite good choices. Really.
Yes, I think so as well. Yeah, it shows our wide range of culinary expertise in Indian and Chinese foods.
Yeah. Now, here's this from David in Notts. He said, good morning, lads. Just imagine the money Porky would save if he bought one of those robots pre-programmed with the voice of Saran Jones.
Yeah.
He'd never go out.
Good idea.
Russ in Birkenhead says, Mike and Porky, have you mentioned Alistair Cook's phenomenal achievement of being the youngest cricketer to reach 10,000 Test match runs?
And he is aged.
Eh?
He is aged.
I don't know. What age is he?
31.
Is he?
Yeah.
So he's the youngest?
Youngest
At
ever.
31. He's not very young, is it?
Well, I didn't think so either, frankly, but anyway.
But, you know, is it also one of those things, you know how people argue about Wayne Rooney's goals and the number of goals now England's players have scored because there's so many more games?
Yes.
Is it the case that there are more Test matches now? And that's why maybe he's reached that total.
Could well be. They play cricket all the year round now, don't they?
Because don't forget, I mean, quite often you see, you know, the reports coming into Talk Sport, Alistair Cook's out again for 7 runs.
That's right, yeah.
So, I mean, you wouldn't call it... I mean, yes, of course, he must be prolific to reach 10,000.
Didn't he have a run of about 10 innings when he never scored more than 5 or something?
And they started counting up like the hours since he'd scored any runs. You know?
No, exactly.
Very bizarre. Now, coming up, it's winners and losers.
Yes.
So I hope you've got your...
You've got my list.
Your list ready for that. And we've agreed already, by the way, that the quiz this week will be on Clint Eastwood. Which should be very interesting indeed.
Indeed.
Right, lots more to do. We'll read out some more of your tweets at the two Mikes, of course, at Mike Parry 8 and at IROMG. You can also check out the twomikes.co.uk to find out where all the shows that we're doing are going to be going
and by
on.
the way, I said to people today, if they were bored on a bank holiday, download the old Two Mikes live DVD.
And you can find out how to do that on the twomikes.co.uk as well. All life is there. This is Talk Sport. Now it's time for the winners and losers. So here we are. Another week has rolled around.
Yes.
It's currently we're in the fourth incarnation of winners and losers at the moment. I having won, of course, the first 3. Porky's looking to try and win one back. He's currently 3.5 to 2.5 down.
Yes.
We haven't decided yet as to who wants to go first for winners or losers. What would you like to do?
What?
What's wrong with you?
Sorry, what did you say?
You're not paying attention. Would you like to go first with your losers? Or
no, I'll let you go first with the losers.
So I'll start off with my 3 losers of the weekend.
Okay.
My first loser of the weekend
is
the man that you will refuse to talk about, who is, of course, Chris Evans.
Oh.
Chris Evans launched his Top Gear, extravaganza on everybody. The general principled view seems to be, even with those people who say, well, it might get better. Maybe the first real Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson wasn't that good either. And they may have a point with that, but apparently it got 4.3 million people on the old register, which is approximately, 1.5 million less than the Top Gear ratings, which were 5.8 million.
Do you know what's amazing? It's the lowest opening show in all the series of Top Gear, and you think of the publicity that they've had. I thought it would be double. I thought, well, crikey, everybody's going to really want to see what happens here.
Chris Evans has already said that if he doesn't make 5 million, then it's going to be a failure. So, I mean, he's already kind of shot himself in the foot in a way. But you can't imagine that after the first one that the ratings will get any better.
No, they won't.
They'll
people
get
have
worse.
looked at it and thought...
People have looked at it. And I mean, even Carol Vorderman, who is, by all intent, whichever way you look at it, a big name in television.
Yes.
She even tweeted out, I've just started watching it. Sorry, boys, I'm switching over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not looking good. So after all the money and all the investment and all the people they've hired, including Matt LeBlanc.
Yes.
I don't think it's looking too good.
Do you not think that's a bit of a knife in the back to a fellow broadcaster?
Not at all. No, I'm putting him down as a loser for the weekend. He's not a fellow broadcaster. I know the guy.
All right.
He's not a friend of mine or anything.
Okay.
My second loser of the weekend is Diego Simeone.
Right.
Diego Simeone, the man who I have to say I thought was going to manage to steer Atletico Madrid to a victory at the weekend on Saturday night, but he was unable to. And even he has admitted that he's fallen short. He says he's lost 2 Champions League finals in 3 years, and he's going to consider his position.
Yes.
Now, I can't imagine that Atletico will let him go or will want to push him out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's had 2 goes now. He's beaten Real Madrid in La Liga, but somehow he can't get past him in the Champions League. So I'm saying he's a loser for that.
Yeah.
And my third loser, and you may... differ for me on this one or not because there's lots of bad behaviour by lots of fans out there from time to time. I'm going to put Millwall down, Millwall's fans basically, for some of the antics they got up to when they went to Wembley and lost to Barnsley, who came up, of course, into the Championship in the League One playoffs. So my 3 losers: Chris Evans, Diego Simeone, and Millwall fans.
Yes, OK. Well, I would have certainly nominated the Millwall fans as losers because it's shocking the way they invaded the space put aside for their opponents. Who were their opponents?
Barnsley,
that's right, of course, But anyway, look...
the wheelchair thing was just horrendous.
Yeah, it was, I'll go with my 3, OK?
Go on, then.
My first one is the Red Bull tyre team for the way they wrecked Daniel Ricciardo's race.
Yes.
I mean,
You're a big fan of his, aren't you?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, he's an Australian and he's a good guy, and he knows what he's doing.
Really?
And it's the second race in the row that his pit team had ruined the race for him. So they are real losers because he was leading the race. All he had to do was get the 8 or 9 second tyre change, which is normal, which stretched into 20 seconds. Lewis Hamilton literally whizzed past and took the lead and never left the lead after that.
Right.
And so they really are big losers, the Red Bull tyre team, OK?
OK.
My second losers, I was going to nominate Millwall, but you've done that, that's fine. So my second losers...
So you're saying that's a good choice?
It's a good choice, my second losers, are the people who run Durham County Cricket Ground.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason is I saw the end of that game today.
This is the Riverside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about Alistair Stewart.
Yeah.
So he scored
Alistair
his record.
Cook.
Alistair Cook, I'm sorry. Alistair Stewart's a broadcaster. Yeah. Sorry about that.
You don't say anything bad about him?
Don't say anything bad about a broadcaster.
Union as well.
So Alistair Cook achieves his record there.
Yes.
And then today, England needed 8 runs for victory. So I turned over and watched it. I was watching another channel, but I noticed there were 8 runs to go on my information device, and I thought, I'll watch this. I did. When they hit the winning run, there wasn't even a ripple of applause from the crowd.
Really?
And when they scanned the stands, there was nobody there.
Really?
And when the team walked off, nobody mobbed them. And when they got into the pavilion...
Well, because they've only beaten Sri Lanka.
Well, this is the point I'm making. I think it was a badly conceived test. They've now won the series. They've won 2 out of 3. They've won the series. I mean, it should be mass celebration. But there was nobody in the ground. Durham is a club...
So what about when he got his 10,000th run the other day?
Well, it's the same sort of thing, to be honest. It was just a ripple of applause. But look, Durham are apparently in terrible financial problems as a county and as a county ground.
But it's not their fault that nobody's buying the tickets, is it?
Well, it's somebody's fault.
Yeah.
They can't fill the ground. It didn't look like a test match to me. It didn't sound like a test match.
Yeah.
Didn't have the atmosphere. And everybody was so indifferent to the victory because it's only Sri Lanka and they've now won the series after 2 games and massacred Sri Lanka. I'm sorry, England-Wales Cricket Board are losers because it was a badly conceived sporting event.
Well, so who are the losers then? You said it was Durham Cricket Ground.
No, I said England-Wales Cricket Board, who appointed Durham as the harbingers of this test match.
So the losers are the England-Wales Cricket Board?
The England and Wales Cricket Board.
Even though they've won the test series early?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The opposition was very, very poor.
Okay.
But it was the location they chose. They gave it to Durham on an old boy, scratch my back and all that basis. That game should have been at a cricket ground, which would have attracted a sellout crowd.
Well, you say like Lords?
Well, the next one's at Lords, actually. The third one's at Lords.
Well, the thing is, they can't keep playing at Lords.
Well, it should have been at Trent Bridge or something like that. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have been at that ground,
very, very hard on the Durhamites, I'd say.
Well, I'm sorry, but nobody went to watch it, so the Durhamites don't really care that much about Test cricket, do they?
I don't know.
And my third one, my third one, and we've already talked about this in the programme, but it has to be the parents of the boy at Cincinnati Zoo who let the little lad into the gorilla enclosure, into the moat, because that has cost the life of a western lowland gorilla. They're very rare in this world. Yeah, gorilla, yeah. They're very rare in this world, and that gorilla looked as though he was protecting the little boy, but they couldn't take the chance that if they tried to remove the little boy from the moat, the gorilla might not turn nasty, so they had to kill the gorilla. So those parents are responsible for the murder and the death of a beautiful animal, a silverback gorilla, and they should be holding their heads in shame, okay? Hanging their heads in shame.
Well, they got their little boy back, so I guess it was all well.
Well, yes, but at the sake of the life of a beautiful animal.
I know,
right?
I know how much you care about those
So I
things.
commend those to the House. They're my 3 choices.
Thank you very much indeed. It's not the House of Commons, by the way, or indeed the Lords.
However,
let's have the winners.
Everyone's a winner, baby, that's no lie. That's no lie. You never fail to satisfy.
now. Your turn to go first with your winners, please.
Okay, my winners are quite straightforward, right?
Yeah.
I have to make my first winner, Tony Bellew.
Okay.
I mean, this boy achieved
This
his
is a guy
life.
you hadn't heard of about half a year ago.
Don't be ridiculous.
You said you don't know who he was.
Oh, I was only trying to lull you into a false sense of security. I've known Tony Bellew's position with Everton for years and years. We all have at Everton. And his life ambition was to go to Goodison Park and become world champion in front of the Everton fans, wearing an Everton shirt. He did all of that. He is a huge winner. He's my winner number one, okay?
Yeah.
My winner number...
First time winners have been there for a while, really.
Sorry?
I know that's a bit of an obvious thing to say, but a lot of people have been saying, you know, it's the first time anything's been won at Goodison Park for ages.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Bellew is now cruiserweight champion of the world, winner at Goodison Park. He is a definite winner.
Yeah.
My second winner is Slovakia.
Slovakia.
Now this is very relevant. Slovakia beat West Germany. Beat Germany, actually, not West Germany. Beat Germany 3-1.
Aren't they going to change the name as well for Slovakia?
I think they're going back to, like, just Lakia or something, aren't they?
Lakia.
Or something like that. Yeah, they are. They are, yeah, something like that. But anyway, at the moment, they're Slovakia.
Okay.
They're in England's group at the Euros.
They are. Isn't that the first game England's got?
No, it's against Russia, the first
Russia?
game,
Yeah, okay.
down in Marseille. And they beat Germany 3-1. And people are saying, oh, well, Germany only turned out half a team and all. I don't care. The point is Slovakia beat Germany 3-1. They're in England's group. I'm sorry, that should send shockwaves through the England camp.
Yeah.
So that's Tony Bellew.
Not a bad point.
So, yeah, and my third one is Barnsley's caretaker manager, Paul Heckingbottom.
Barnsley.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul who?
Paul Heckingbottom.
That's a good name, isn't it?
It's a very good
Yorkshire
name. He's the caretaker manager, and he's taken them to their second Wembley victory this season. Think about that. I'm talking about Barnsley.
What do you mean second victory this season?
They won the Johnson's Paint Trophy there 2 months ago, and they've now got themselves up into a promotion. They've got a promotion from the playoff game.
What's this guy's name?
Paul Heckingbottom.
Heckingbottom?
Yeah.
You sure it's not Heckingbottom?
Hey?
Are you sure it's not Heckingbottom?
Yes, it is. That's what I said.
It's not Heckingbottom.
No, it's Heckingbottom.
There's no L in it.
No, there's no L in it.
You
no.
said Heckingbottom.
No, I didn't. No,
You did.
you were trying to influence me. Barnsley's Paul Heckingbottom.
I was trying to heckle you, actually.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah, Heckingbottom, the caretaker manager, second Wembley victory in just 2 months. Johnson's Paint Trophy first. Now they've got themselves up. First one, Tony Bellew. Second one, Slovakia.
Yeah.
I commend those winners to the house.
Flaming Heckingbottom is all I can say. Now, I'm going to go with your boxing theme because I think there was a greater achievement over the weekend, and it wasn't at Goodison Park. It was in Glasgow, and it was Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns, the fighter who's become the 3-weight world champion. Only two other people in British boxing have done that.
Really?
He's basically now got the WBA super lightweight title to add to the previous WBO super featherweight and lightweight belts.
Right.
Only Bob Fitzsimmons and Duke McKenzie have achieved that feat in the past. And I think it's an absolutely brilliant achievement as a Brit, and he's certainly the first Scottish person to have done it.
Yes.
So Ricky Burns is my first one.
Right.
My second one is in the world of golf. I don't know whether you're aware that the PGA Championship was going on down at Wentworth.
Of course.
Over the course of the weekend.
Of course.
And the winner was Chris Wood from Bristol, funnily enough.
Okay.
And he came from 3 shots down to win it. But what's interesting about what he did is that not only is it the biggest win of his career, but he has catapulted himself into not just the reckoning, but in terms of points, into the sort of certainties for the Ryder Cup.
Really?
Which is a little bit later on.
And nobody's heard of this man.
Well, but that's why he's the winner.
Wow.
Because sometimes you haven't heard of people straight off, who have done such
The
great
audience
things.
normally like our winners to be a bit more well known. You know?
Okay, well, I'm going to go with this because, in fact, he's going to be a name that you will have on the tip of your tongue.
Okay.
When the Ryder Cup comes along.
Remember this name.
No, I think you should.
Right.
And my final winner, it's been difficult really to choose because there have been so many winners of the weekend. But I think I'm going to have to nominate AFC Wimbledon. Just because they've come up, not only have they come up from where they were, which was basically nowhere, because every football fan that really calls themselves a real football fan loves AFC Wimbledon, doesn't like MK Dons. And the fact that they're now going to be in League One, where they're going to be playing against the MK Dons, I mean, that is going to be a fantastic match-up, isn't it?
Indeed.
And as I've said at the start of the show, it's football karma.
Okay.
So those are my 3. I'm going with Ricky Burns, Chris Wood for winning the PGA at Wentworth, and AFC Wimbledon.
Right, okay.
So those are our winners and losers. If you go to at the 2 mics, you'll be able to vote momentarily. This is TalkSport.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. Coming up tomorrow, of course, it's Porky Vision. We're going to do the quiz on, I keep wanting to say Lee Clintwood, but of course it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, yeah.
Now, why don't you tell me about this red skull problem?
This is amazing. Now, the reason this story attracted me was because I also don't like the colour red. Now, that is not because I'm an Evertonian. I don't like the colour red.
But why don't you like it?
Well, it just doesn't suit me, or I don't like it, or whatever.
It's not a colour most men would suddenly wear. I mean, I've got a red jumper. I think it's the only red thing I've got.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is nothing is red in my life. I've never had a red car.
Yeah. You're not very well read, are you?
Nothing in my house is red. I wouldn't wear a red tie.
You know, ignored that.
Some people. Of course, I ignored it because it's a stupid,
I thought it was quite clever,
facetious, idiotic comment. So that's why I ignored it. You know. So some men who wear like black suits, like I do, would wear a white shirt and a red tie, but I wouldn't. You know,
unlike Jon Snow, you don't wear red socks.
Don't wear red socks or anything like that. Nothing is red in my life at all. You know, I wouldn't decorate my house red or have a red curtains or anything.
You turn red in the sun.
Well, of course I do sometimes. That's because of my skin colour. But anyway, this school in Dundee, it's Easton Primary School.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the head teacher, her name is Gillian Knox, sent pupils home with a letter saying red is often used to energise body and mind, and some research indicates it can increase heart and breathing rates. This is not the calm, relaxed learning state we hope to achieve at our school. A recent study linked red to impaired performance on achievement. Our staff feel red needs to remain a key element of our uniform, but that it would be best used in smaller amounts.
Right.
For example, in our school tie.
So what is it in the uniform at the moment, then?
It's completely red. The tops are all red.
Right.
The jumpers are red.
Yeah.
What do the kids wear?
They wear usually like a sweatshirt. Because my son's primary school, they've got a red. They've got a red sweatshirt.
They're all red.
Yeah.
So and it says this proposal has divided the school community. In feedback, more than half of parents say they'd like to keep the uniform as it is, and some have described it as a headmistress gone mad.
Yeah.
The majority of staff voted for a change, with almost 2/3 saying they want a largely grey uniform. Meanwhile, the pupils themselves have backed a range of options and colour combinations.
This is kind of the opposite, isn't it, of what was happening at Cardiff City? Do you remember?
Yes, I do,
Where red was thought to be the lucky colour of Vincent Tan, because in Asia, apparently, it is considered a lucky colour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was a big uproar because they were always playing in blue shirts.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were the Bluebirds.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely right. One mother, Louise Tate, says, red is easier to buy than grey. Grey always looks washed out. My children look better in red, but the whole issue surrounding the colour is absolutely bizarre. And another mother, Pamela Dye, said, I think the school seriously needs help if this is an issue. I'm going to protest and campaign in favour of keeping red. This whole issue of breathing, increased heart rates is just a load of madness.
Well, it does sound like a load of old cobblers, doesn't it?
Well,
What was your school uniform at the King's School Chester?
The King's School Chester, right, in the summer, you wore a blazer which was blue, green and white striped.
What?
Blue, green and white.
That sounds like the outfit, the get-up I wore as a fancy dress to Piers Morgan's party.
Yeah, it was like that,
It was like
actually.
a sort of flapper's jacket.
No, it was like that. It was like something you'd see.
That sounds hideous.
It's like something you'd see at Henley Royal Regatta.
That sounds hideous.
Well, no, because I'll tell you what it was.
You have a straw boater as well?
No. It was a broad blue stripe, a broad green stripe, and then a pencil-thin white stripe. And then again, so it was mostly blue and green with a...
It's pretty identifiable, anyway.
Yeah, so that was in the...
So you wore a different jacket in the summer and the winter?
Oh, yes, in the winter you wore a grey suit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, a dark grey suit.
Have you not got any pictures of you at school? I'd like to see some of those.
Yeah, probably.
I'd love to
somewhere.
see you in a garish jacket like that.
Yeah, maybe somewhere. I don't know. I'm not sure.
My school uniform in my primary school was a blue blazer, actually.
Right.
And I used to wear short grey trousers.
Yes.
And long socks.
Until what age?
I think I stopped wearing the... I think until I was about 9 or till I was in like this top class.
Right, yeah, sure, yeah.
Changed to
I hated
trousers.
short trousers.
I didn't mind short trousers.
Yeah, I hated them. Made me feel childish.
Well, my dad used to wear shorts all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, what, to go to work?
Well, he played golf in shorts all year round.
Yeah, well, it's different, isn't it,
Yeah, but he would wear shorts later in his life when he started to get a bit mad as well.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But then, my secondary school, my grammar school, was black blazer. The tie was like a sort of purple and blue.
Oh.
Or claret and blue, I suppose you might say.
Yeah.
White shirt, only a white shirt. And black trousers.
Now, when we got into the sixth form, right, you could replace the striped blazer with a blue blazer, a beautifully cut and manufactured blazer, if you had achieved sporting distinction within the school.
Yeah.
That made you different and better than everybody else. So, of course, I had a blue blazer. and I had my...
What, like an Oxford blue or something?
Yes, that's right, yes.
You are so pretentious, aren't you?
No.
That's typical of you.
I had...
You would have to have some kind of thing that made you stand out.
Well, yes, and I had my blue blazer, and I had my school colours on my blazer pocket here. See?
What do you mean colour? What, you mean like a sort of a colonel?
No, it was a badge that was sewed on because I had distinguished myself.
Well,
with the
see, my blazer
first
already had the school badge on.
Oh yeah, but no. You could have the school badge if you hadn't achieved anything. Because I'd achieved, mine was replaced with a first 11
you nicked
football.
Somebody else's.
No, I didn't. No,
I thought you weren't in the first 11.
Of course I was.
You were in the second 11.
No, I was in the third 11 for cricket. And I was going to say to you, when I was talking about Durham in winners and losers, that there were more people clapping and cheering me in the King's School third 11 than clapped and cheered at Durham today. Believe me.
All right.
But anyway, no, the blazer was a beautiful blazer. Unfortunately, I got disgraced.
Did you?
Because when I got sent off...
Did you have it stripped from you, like the branded thing? You know, they rip his, his stuff off at the start of the show.
The headmaster ripped it off on stage in front of the whole
Well, they called
school.
you up?
Yes.
And actually ripped it off?
Ripped it off.
What did you get sent off for?
I got sent off for breaking Martin Carr's leg. He was a player for Shrewsbury School.
Oh, yeah.
And that was an unfortunate accident. And,
Doesn't sound like it.
Eh?
Well, surely if it was an accident, they wouldn't have stripped you of the sport.
Oh, it's the disgrace. I got sent off. And,
well, yeah, but so you must have been sent off because it was a deliberately dangerous challenge.
It wasn't really. It was just mistimed. I caught him just under the knee. But anyway...
but at high throttle, presumably.
Yeah, high throttle, yeah. But anyway, so I was called up onto the stage, and, you know, what happened was, after assembly each morning, the headmaster would read out some notes and all that, and then read out the achievements of the school and all that. And then he said... Unfortunately, this is Mr. Monday.
I must now turn to a dark period in the school's history.
This is Mr. Monday, who was a classic scholar and the most boring man I've ever met. He had, you know, short hair and used to wear a mortarboard and all this, you know. Unfortunately, we have a desperate matter which we have to attend to today. I must call up to the stage Sixth Former Parry. You know, so I
Parry the traitor.
I got up there, we have disgraced the school, and you're no longer entitled to wear your first 11 colours. And ripped it off.
Did you take like the whole pocket off?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah, well, it was
I'd have
terrible.
been cheering.
It was terrible. No, I had to walk around for the rest of the day with all these bits of cotton sticking out where my pocket used to be. It was horrendous.
Did you lie to your parents as well?
No, I had to tell them what happened.
Yeah.
They were quite upset because the blazer had cost about 70 quid.
I bet,
Yeah.
Now, how about this, before we stop? Tomato soup in an Indian restaurant, says Mark. What a strange man. And then this other one says Porky Parry in Mr. Bean mode. Tomato soup in that sort of place.
Yeah.
Stuart says, great idea by Porky about the robot voiced by a dead partner.
Yeah.
Giving you the ability to be ignored from beyond the grave.
That's nice.
Kenny says, sounded like a very Anglified Chinese and Indian menu, you guys. Need to get out more. Try China or Malaysia. Well, of course it's an Anglified menu, Kenny. It's about going to English-based Indian and Chinese restaurants.
Exactly.
I cook an awful lot of Indian food,
Yeah.
which is very, very different from what I would get in a restaurant.
Yes.
And I sometimes go to China. I went to Chinatown once, actually, and had snake.
Where?
In one of the Chinese restaurants in Chinatown.
Sorry, in London?
In London, yeah.
Oh, blimey, I wouldn't have snake.
They used to have a special Chinese menu, and we'd get them to bring it to us because it was after 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And about this, the school against red doesn't give a name. If the woman is right, then every school in the land with a red blazer must be failures.
Yeah.
Surely that can't be right.
Yeah.
Proof that the theory is nonsense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right.
Could be.
Last 51 to 49%.
In favour of?
In my favour at the moment.
Well, I'd say that's even Stevens.
It's been going, it's going backwards and forwards. Too early to call.
Yeah, too
close to call at the moment.
I think
go to at the 2 mics and vote, please.
I think the Porky Army pick up when the podcast drops because, of course, you know, there are many
Well, that's
followers
when they're let
for
out
me.
of the Porky tribe. Are all let out of their, what do you call it? What do you call it? Sheltered accommodation, right?
You see, you have to be rude to a big section of our listeners.
It's not a big section.
I don't know why you do that.
It's not a big section. It's a small minority of what can only be described as loosely brained types.
I honestly, I don't know why you do that.
Most people who vote like to listen to what you say and what I say. Sometimes they vote for you, sometimes they vote for me. I mean, anyone who's daft enough to just vote the same way all the time, regardless of the subject matter, I'm sorry, I'm afraid it's not really in the spirit of what we should be doing.
No, absolutely. You talked about Chris Evans and his Top Gear, right?
Yes.
Now, there are a number of reports floating around, which will be in publication today, saying that Chris Evans hit out at critics of the revamped Top Gear after the first episode attracted the show's lowest audience, as you pointed out, for a series launched in a decade. 4.4 million people only tuned in to relaunch of the opening show. 5 million target that presenter Evans said would constitute success, making it lowest series opener. Yeah. But he then apparently sent out a series of tweets with a load of stats things like, we got 23% of available audience at the time.
He needs to back off all of that.
Yeah.
Because nothing worse, as you know,
exactly,
than becoming so obsessed with what you're doing that you're on social media the whole time. And you see that picture of him sitting in a pub sort of garden.
Reading the papers or something.
Yeah, but not just reading the papers.
Yeah.
And you wonder about how much of this is deliberate. He's reading a copy of what looks like the Mail on Sundays magazine.
Right.
Which is open at the column that he writes.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And you go, well, how much of a narcissist is this guy?
That's right, yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, if all you do is you finish the show and then you out on social media defending it and saying, well, we got this, we got that. It's like, take a day off, mate.
I totally agree. It's that very, very famous Shakespearean saying, isn't it?
Is it?
I fear he protesteth too much.
Indeed. Yes.
What that means is that you protest too much, you've lost the argument.
He's covering something up.
Or you're guilty of something. Quite right, yeah.
Now, have you seen the story about the talking parrot in Dublin?
No.
There's a talking parrot that's been found, apparently.
There's plenty of talking parrots about.
Are there?
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a talking parrot?
In a film.
In a film?
Yes.
Well, that doesn't mean you've seen one in real life, does
there's plenty of talking parrots about. We all know that.
No, I know that, but there's a talking parrot that's been found inside a football stadium.
There's plenty of F-111 fighters about. When was the last time you saw one?
I saw an F-111 fighter quite recently, actually.
On the ground?
No, it was flying.
Oh, yeah, you don't see those flying.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Of course you do.
You never see them.
They fly around all the time. What do you think they do?
I've just seen it on the telly.
No,
anyway, tell me about this parrot.
No, I think it was part of an air show of some kind.
Right, okay. Tell me about the parrot.
The parrot is found in a place called Dallymount Park.
Yes.
Right, where the Bohemians play. And the parrot was finally was discovered.
Yes.
Apparently just roaming around the stadium.
Right.
And normally there's a lot of stray cats in this stadium as well. So they put out an APB, basically, to try and
get
find
your parrot back.
whoever owns it, because nobody can understand how it got there.
Well, there's lots of wild parrots in the world.
They're not wild parrots in Ireland.
Well, there's thousands of wild parrots in Britain now.
No, there aren't.
There are.
There's
tree full of them. Parakeets.
Well, the parakeets, they're not parrots, though, are they? They don't talk.
Well, they're the same sort of family of bird, aren't they? Huh?
Are they?
Don't you know that?
Same genus.
You don't know much, you, honestly.
Well, it's not that I don't know much.
Sometimes,
anyway.
I sometimes wonder I'm wasting my time trying to imbue you with, knowledge.
You are wasting your time a lot of the time. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing later? You've got about 10 seconds to tell me.
I've got a very busy day.
Have you?
Yeah.
A lot of paperwork?
Yeah, a lot of paperwork, yeah.
Is that it?
A lot of organisation.
Yeah.
A lot of keeping your head above water.
Yeah. Well, just try and make sure whichever way you go home, you go directly home. You don't go via King's Road. Don't go via the embankment.
Certainly won't.
You know what I mean? Why do you keep saying werewolf?
Because that's how I pronounce werewolf.
Well, it's not werewolf.
It is werewolf.
It's werewolf.
It's not. Michael Jackson's video was werewolf.
No, it's not W-E-I-R. It's W-E-R-E.
Yes, I know. That's werewolf. I'd say the Michael Jackson one was very, very famous around the world, and of course that invoked zombies to reappear in graveyards from the depths of their graves.
Sorry.
Well, it did. How long will it be before a man runs from the start to the end of the 100 metres track in 1 second?